Oh, you know what I love? Sports.
I love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
I need to talk a little sports with you, Ags. David Nuño here with TexAgs Radio. Billy Liucci here on TexAgs Radio. Olin Buchanan.
We will develop men. We will graduate players. We will win championships on the field.
The best way for us to win is to do it together.
I've been in college baseball for a while now, but I've never experienced anything like 12th man.
The other schools are like, we're freaking Texas A&M, man. Like,
it's been special. The 12th man this past week was unbelievable.
The epitome of what this team has done, right? Gavin homers, Jace homers, Braden homers, Chris Cortez, 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Concern. Yep, that's the truth. Back-to-back losses for A&M baseball. The offense has not been the same in a few weeks. And their postseason fate, which they're going to host, and there'll be a top 4 seed, in my opinion, will be announced on Monday, Memorial Day, which we will be doing a show here on TexAgs Radio. And so that's kind of what we're going to start with. But also a reminder, 99 days. We are less than 100 days, down to the double digits, before the first game of Aggie football. We're exactly 99 days away from that. Olin, good morning, buddy.
Good morning.
Hey, we should tell the people what show this is.
This is TexAgs Radio, the Go Hour.
Yeah. Presented by the Warehouse at CC Creation.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this whole presentation, though, is...
Right here is
David Gardner's Jewelers.
David Gardner's Jewelers.
But this studio... There. Yeah, but the
Rollo Insurance Studio.
Yeah, we love them. They're great.
Love them all.
Look, I still think this team can win a College World Series, especially considering they're great at home. And I feel like they're going to have home games throughout the...
Well, yeah.
Right? So when you're regional, when you're super regional, so I'm not... Totally, and that could hopefully get you out of this little slump that you're in. But there's some offensive issues that have popped up, OB, that I had a talk with Billy yesterday on the phone, and it kind of got me going down this track. So I did some research.
Okay.
A&M in their last 12 games, they're 5-7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's not a small sample set. That's a big chunk of the season. Okay, over their last 8 games, they're 3-5. So I'm gonna throw you some numbers. They're averaging 6 runs per game in that stretch, okay?
Yeah.
During the year, I think they're at 8.85 runs per game, so 2 less runs per game, okay? 6.16 runs. But if you look through those 12 games, one of those games was Rice, where they scored 16 runs. The very next game, they scored... or the game right before it, they scored 14 runs. So 30 runs in those 2 games. But outside of that, in their last 8 games, I'm giving a lot of numbers right now, they're averaging 4.5 runs per game.
Well, what I would look at is what they've done in the SEC, because you're not going to, from here on out, you're not going to be playing a team the caliber of Rice, right? Now, maybe not every team you play is the caliber of an SEC game, but what worries me, and believe me, I'm, again, frustrated but lost no sleep over the game against Tennessee. They're going to come play next week at Bluebell, and I think everybody's going to be 100% locked in. But what goes beyond, in my mind, I've been told by the baseball people that I'm way off on this, but it's still my concern. So maybe I'm the only one. But what, to me, is the volume of strikeouts when you had, I think they had like 12 yesterday. And when you get guys on base, now are they striking out every time guys are on base? Of course not. But to me, that's, and I don't cover the team, so I can't do all the comparisons, right? But it just seems to me that volume of strikeouts, when you don't even you get guys on base, you can't even put the ball in play. That, to me, is what's alarming. Now, you can come back and say, well, they're starting pitching. I think their pitching was, for an A&M team, was fine the last couple of games.
Yeah, pitching's been good.
But even if it's not, throughout the whole season, has this team relied on pitching to win or hitting?
Offense.
Yep. So based on what is the team's strength, the volume of strikeouts when you get guys on base and you can't move them around, or not all the time, but consistently, just just get outs with nobody able to even advance. That's to me
they're not getting runners in scoring position, and they're getting out before they get on base. We have 2 outs yesterday several times, and then they get on base. Like,
I see.
That's a problem.
And I see them get on base, and it's just that big hit just seems to be eluding them right now.
Yep. Well, look,
they hit a lot of solo home runs.
I will, because you got it's like a tennis match. You go back and forth. I'll give them credit for the Arkansas series, right? But Arkansas sputtering right now, right? They lost 2 of 3 to A&M, and they lost their first 2 games in the SEC tournament. So, but my point is, there's an issue out there that I think is I don't want to say masked, but when they're at home, they're a different team.
As is most teams. Look, is Arkansas sputtering? They lost 2 on the road against A&M.
But they also lost their 2 games.
But I can't sit here on Friday and say what I was thinking about Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday when I was saying, look, if you're in the tournament, you're not going to be at, you may not, human nature, you may lose an edge when the games don't really matter. And if I say that about A&M, it also applies to Arkansas.
No, but to me, it's about where you're trending, right? And the sample set of the 12 games is what's alarming to me. If you look at the overall body of work over the 10-plus games, it's alarming to be losing and not scoring as many runs. And I think scoring 2 less runs a game is a big deal.
Well, I absolutely agree with that, and that's why I'm saying. But I think, I'm guessing that a major part in them scoring that 2 runs is it seems like the volume of strikeouts have spiked. I'm guessing that's a big factor in that. And maybe it's not, but they sure seem to hit a lot of solo home runs lately.
Yep.
Lately. I know the last, I remember I was there when Braden Montgomery hit a grand slam against Georgia, right? So I know it's not only, but it just seems like they've left a lot of guys on base, and a lot of reason is because strikeouts.
Yep. Well, I mean,
and I know you're going to strike out sometime, but it's a volume of it. But as far as them losing 2 games in Hoover, I wanted to win. But I don't think those 2 games are going to be a factor next week.
See, here's a Nuñoism. Those games don't mean anything, but they sure mean something, right? Like, to me, it's the overall body of work again. I go over the last couple of weeks. Like, to me, you don't want to go into your regional not playing your best baseball. And they haven't been playing their best baseball for 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks.
Well, see, all right, if you want to put it for 3 weeks, okay. I'm just saying
those two
mean nothing to me. And
they mean something to me because of what's happened the 2 weeks before.
And in the 2 weeks before that, the way it ended, we were talking about them looking like a national championship team after they won 2 out of 3 against Arkansas,
right? Which
is a national championship caliber team.
That was sandwiched in the middle, and you're 100% correct, or not even in the middle. But look, the vibe doesn't seem right.
And a lot of it is, you're right, because didn't they have like 6 walks and 3 errors yesterday?
Yeah, it was.
So it was, there's a lot of issues, right? But going back to what I think, and acknowledging I could be 100% wrong. I don't watch the team every single day, and I sure don't watch it in the manner of a guy covering it, which is different from a guy just watching to be entertained. There are a lot of issues, but I don't think when you're completely locked in like you will be when the games absolutely matter, I don't think you're likely to have 3 errors.
I got you. And this team has enough history this year to make you feel like, all right, they'll figure it out. They're going to be better at home because everybody's better at home, and they're A&M, and they're great at home, right? So there's that. They've lost, 3 games at home this year, is that right? Is that the number?
Yes, I know it's not many. So, of course, they haven't lost many games at all.
Right. So I'm not overly concerned. I'm just saying
I would like to see them play better.
Yeah, and I do think that they will. So they've got to score some more runs. I think the pitching's been good, and they're fantastic at home. And I fully expect There'll be a top 4 seed, and I fully expect for Texas to be the 2 seed because
that's what the NCAA does.
Well, not only is that what the NCAA does, but D1 baseball and everybody else has that prediction.
Yeah, but they do that, I'm sure, in the back of their mind, say, well, the NCAA always does this, so.
Don't you expect it to happen, though?
I don't know, but I'll say this. I don't expect anything, but I wouldn't be surprised by anything.
I wouldn't be surprised either. All right, that is Coffee Talk presented by TexAgs Coffee. Beat the hell out of the mornings by going to texags.com/coffee. Let's do a caller. Or not a caller, a texter. Let's do a texter for free coffee. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. What number? What's
2.
Number 2?
For 2 home runs by Gavin Grohovic. Is that all right? Is
that maybe 9 for his number?
Okay, let's go 9. That gives more people. 9th texter to say coffee. Luke's going to hook him up with
that. Is Gavin's number, is it not?
I believe it. Is that right?
Yeah. Luke is bobbing his head like one of those dogs in your car. You know, he's going.
So, yeah, texter number 9, 979-693-1150. Couple of talking points from Coach Elko yesterday. Can we play that game?
Yeah, absolutely.
He was at the Houston Coaches Night. So let's talk a little bit about it. Hopefully everybody heard that. We spent a lot of time working with the offensive line. Is he talking about our show? We spent a lot of time working with the offensive line. Offensive line is the lifeblood of your program. We will block a lot better this fall.
Hallelujah.
Let's go!
That's what I want to hear.
Sorry for screaming. It excited me.
It should. Because, hey, how about a coach that will acknowledge? I mean, every coach knows it, but the coach will publicly acknowledge the importance, and we need to block better, other than we need to find inches. Because we're blocking okay. We're just missing it for, it's none of it. Just, hey, you know what? We got to just go out there and block better, and we will.
Yeah. But I love this. Hopefully everybody heard that. We spent a lot of time working on the offensive line. Like, because he knows the complaint, right? Like he knows that. Like,
well, read that quote differently though, without stopping on that.
Okay. Hopefully everybody heard that. We spent a lot of time working.
Is that the way you said it? Because when you said, hopefully everybody heard that, I was like, what is that?
Because he must have said something earlier.
Okay,
but I'm basing this on the tweet from TexAgs.
Or was he saying, hopefully everybody heard that we're working a lot harder on the offense?
That's a good point.
So
either way, he's saying
that they're going to block better.
Let's go.
You tell me that they're going to. I think this team will be probably as good as the offensive line. So if that offensive line is a B plus, I think you're going to have a team that may be a B plus.
8.493.
Maybe even you'll be one grade higher than the offensive line.
Let's play this game for a minute.
All right.
If they're a B, just a B, not a B plus, not a B minus, just a B offensive line, 8-4, 9-3.
9-3.
If they're an A offensive line, 9-3, 10-2.
It's always so hard. 10-2. I thought.
Okay. A plus offensive line. Are they 11-1 and going to the national championship?
Well, they're 11-1, but you have to go further than that. Yeah, get you in the playoffs.
Yeah. Are they going to go to the playoffs?
If they have an A plus offensive line, I don't see why not.
If they have an A, here's the truth, or a question: A plus offensive line and an A plus defensive line. Are they one of the 5 best teams in the country?
Very well could be, but we're expecting a lot. Now, I think
I jumped a lot.
I think there's a better chance they're an A plus defensive line than offensive line. But hey, they're going to block better. Okay. And they won 7 games with terrible blocking, and were in position to win all 5 other 5 games in the fourth quarter with bad blocking.
So let's dial it back a little bit. What grade would we give the offensive line last year?
D.
So better is anything better than a D.
Right.
So C.
Right.
So if they have a C offensive line, which is
that's
better.
8-4.
8-4, 7-5, 8-4.
8-4.
But I thought we said 8-4, 9-3 for
I said
a
9-3.
Did we? Okay. All right.
You said 8-4, 9-3. I said 9-3.
Okay. I'm just saying they're in that
now,
range.
it could be one, if you have a B offensive line, but an A defense, not just defensive line, but defense, okay, then.
You'll gladly take a B offensive line this year, right? You'll be extremely happy with that.
You know, if my kid's been bringing home D's,
and he brings home a B?
And then he brings home a B, I'm like, hey, let's go get some ice cream.
But you know what the interesting part is? When your kid,
I know this because that's what my parents said. Hey, let's go get some ice cream.
You know, conversely, though, if you're used to your kids bringing home A's and they bring home a B, it's like, I don't want to get mad, but bro, like you're an A student. Like, come on.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
The standard here should be an A every year.
Absolutely. And that's why it was so frustrating last year and the year before to not only see them struggle offensively, but to hear a coach deny that they're having trouble.
All right, so one more. I just said if they have an A offensive line and an A defensive line. We've heard this from Coach Elko before, yesterday at the Houston A&M Club. We actually have a group that could be the best defensive line we've had in quite a while.
In quite a while. See, I thought they were good in the defensive line last year, but you know what? I believe him because just based on productivity last year, wherever they were, I think Nick Scorton's going to be an upgrade. Not a massive upgrade, but an upgrade over Fadil Diggs.
Yeah.
And I think Shamar Turner will be just as good as he was last year. And Shamar Stewart, I'm hearing, has made a significant jump. And as good as McKinley Jackson is, I think DJ Hicks might be your next Justin Matabike.
God, I hope so.
I think so. Just with a lot shorter name.
So I'm going to give you the last text. I mean,
a lot easier to spell.
This one here, I think, is the best line of the night, and it probably went over some people's head, or not over their heads. It probably didn't resonate as much as it resonates with me. Hopefully you'll agree, OB. Coach Elko yesterday. We will become a championship program when nobody's watching.
Okay.
See, that it doesn't hit you the way it hits me.
No, well,
Greatness happens when others are sleeping. Greatness happens not when you're expected to do it, when you're not expected to do it. That's how you reach levels. Those who are great at it come in at 4 a.m., they leave at 2 a.m. There's a level of work that is not when people are watching you. It's when you don't expect people watching you. There's an expectation level that you hold each other accountable, and you're going to work for that, not just when it's practice time, when people are there and the media are shooting their 15 minutes of B-roll. No. It is 24/7. It's a lifestyle, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think guys that are, I'll give you an example.
Give me an
individual example.
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman. Everybody saw all the crazy antics he did and things like that. But you know what made him a great player?
What's that?
People will tell you in San Antonio that there was a well-known chain of gyms, and there were people that tell you that 1 o'clock till 3 a.m. That's when Dennis Rodman was there working out like gangbusters. Michael Irvin had always had a reputation for being like one of the hardest workers anybody. Everybody always talked about that. And I saw this thing about him when he was in high school. Like while everybody was partying, he would put on a weight jacket and and run miles and things like that. I think Mike Evans was one of those guys that worked really hard away, when he didn't have to. And it's those type of guys that, become that can be good, become great.
Right.
And then some guys do what you're supposed, what you're told to do, and maybe not put 100% effort into it because they're just good, but they don't get better. And I think if you have a program of guys that are constantly trying to work because it's important to them individually as well as for your team, then you got something special.
All right. We're going to go reverse order as we go around the room and say hello to the people. We're going to first go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center and check in with Luke Evangelist, who apparently gets vacation. I didn't realize people get vacation here, but he gets a vacation. He's gone for
vacation from what? What does he do?
From working 2 hours a day?
What vacation was he? Did he spend 2 weeks not annoying anyone?
No, he was annoying people on vacation.
Oh, so he wasn't on vacation.
Hey, Luke, can you read for me quickly, because we've gone a long time, Jerry's text message, because I think Obi and I need to respond to it.
I mean, yeah, finally it's good that I'm getting something to do around here because I do nothing. But Jerry said,
Wait, I don't like your tone, young man.
I'm glad he acknowledges it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hey, guys, great show. I have
Thank
a little
you.
problem with you guys jumping off the bandwagon of the baseball team. They're excellent. I'm not worried about them one bit, but you're already propping up the football team to an A+ and A++ and could be one of the best in the country. Don't jump that far out there yet.
Okay, let's slow down. Let's take it in parts.
Put a bunch of ifs.
Let's take it in parts. Did anybody jump off the bandwagon?
I just think I said that the thing that happened in
concerned.
Hoover means nothing to me.
If my kid, again, I'm going to go back to kids and grades. If my kid gets A's all year long, and all of a sudden, the last 6 weeks of B's and C's, there's conversations had at home. All right, I am concerned. I also said, and you said it as well, they play every game the rest of the way at home until they get, hopefully, to the College World Series to Omaha. So you could be concerned, and I think it is fair to be concerned. It doesn't mean jumping off a bandwagon. Do I think this team can still win a national championship? Yes, I do, OB. Do I think they will? I hope so. I don't know. I don't know anything. But I do. And by the way, the football thing, the A++, we're asking questions. If I were to predict today, is the offensive line going to get an A+? No, I'm not predicting that today.
Yeah, we're just kind of reacting
to what he said.
In best case, in different scenarios, from what we think to best case scenario with the offensive line, if they're that good.
If you were to ask me who will have a better season, the Aggie baseball teams this year's end of the season or the Aggie football team in the fall, I'd probably say the Aggie baseball team because I fully think they can compete for a national championship. As for the football team, I don't know where they are yet because there's too many questions.
All that's fair. With baseball, I said all week, whatever happens in Hoover to me is irrelevant, and I still feel that way. But I did say I am concerned about the volume of strikeouts, but it's not because of Hoover. In fact, I think in their first game in Hoover, they only had 7. I'm thinking since that end of that Georgia loss, it seems like they've had a large number, an inordinate amount of numbers.
And I have to say this. I feel like I should say, I'm going to say it just so people, I 1,000,000% believe in this coaching staff.
Yeah, absolutely. I've said before, I think Jim Schlossnagle might be the best coach they have at A&M, even though the Dreamweaver's making a strong case.
The Dreamweaver is a national champion. Let's just say it. In the SEC, too. I guess we could say hi to Nick Savage. Nick, good morning, buddy. How are you behind the glass?
I'm good. Just working hard back here. I'm excited for Aggie softball, and their super regional starts today. I know we're about to talk to Kay live from Austin, Texas. So, I'm looking forward to that. Not really. It's kind of the same attitude I had yesterday with Aggie baseball. Just, would have liked to see them win a game or two, but it's really no big deal. They'll be playing at home the rest of the way. So excited for what's to come.
Hey, do you think we jumped off the bandwagon, or we just showed a little concern?
No, I think just showing a little concern. That's not a crime or anything like that.
I would imagine everything we talked about as their concerns.
They're talking about it.
Yeah, that they're talking about it.
I'm not questioning people. I'm just saying the offense is dipped. That's a fact. The stats will prove that.
Yeah, and the game they lost to Mississippi State, and they were coming back and everything, and then you talk about losing on some of the flukiest plays.
Yeah.
Aschenbach gets them out. He throws an out pitch at that the guy just nubs it, and it turns into an infield hit, I guess. Yeah, those things, sometimes bad luck happens.
Let's hit a break here. If you're looking for a reason to come back to Aggie Land, or you think that this is the place you want to live and you have family that lives out here, you're trying to find a way to get back here because you went to school, whatever your reason may be, the Association of Former Students is looking to hire professionals to join their team, and they've got openings in all of these great departments: fundraising, former student programs, marketing. They are the premier alumni association and the oldest organization serving A&M in support of that Aggie network, and they play a part in every Aggie story from Howdy to here. Don't miss opportunities to help out the association with Howdy Socials, Aggie Green Day, class reunions, Aggie Muster, and everything in between. You can join a team that exemplifies those Aggie core values of excellence, integrity, leadership, loyalty, respect, and selfless service, all in support of that worldwide Aggie network. So if you're interested in joining a team or sharing with someone that would be a great fit, please visit tx.ag/association jobs to apply and get more information on each position. It is the Association of Former Students. Am I the one in the white hat?
It depends on the day, man.
Hey.
But I'm just thinking, are we going to have Kay Naegeli on? Is she coming up or something?
We are, but I do want to
say that just doesn't seem the right bumper music for Kay.
Oh, you could have hurt some feelings at Ryan Broadcasting. I thought it was fantastic. Thank you, Emily. Huh. See, now you get the hate mail. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. Let's do this. Let's read this text, then we'll go to Kay Naegeli. Good thing we aren't playing many SEC teams in the next 2 rounds. Our non-conference record is pretty good. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's 25-0.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. So let's continue that streak. Let's go to the hotline. Kay Naegeli is on assignment for us.
In Austin, Texas.
In freaking Austin? Can you imagine? My first road trip was not Austin for a company.
Well, I think she's been on other road trips, has she not?
I mean, she's on her own on this road trip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this
solo
is like
road trip.
Solo road trip. And were you on 6th Street last night, Kay Naegeli?
I was not indeed. No, I have not. I've not really left the hotel room outside of going back and forth to Texas softball stadium. But yeah, first alone assignment, if you will. So it's been fun.
What is up with the curtains in the back? What is it? What letters are?
That's what Nick was saying. It's like the room. Austin, keep Austin weird. It's like this huge little Scrabble crossword type of curtain. I don't really know what's going on. So
word search.
Yeah.
Hey, so you were with the team yesterday as A&M's getting ready for this super regional. What was kind of the vibe, the mood of the team, Trisha and the players?
Yeah, so we had media availability yesterday morning, and A&M went out and practiced, got a feel for the land and everything about it. They were feeling good. It was definitely high energy. Emily Kennedy is going to be utilized quite a bit throughout the weekend. So I asked her, how you feeling this weekend, knowing you be utilized a lot. And she's like, I'm good. I'm ready. I've been thrown in about every situation you can put me in. So she is ready. And the Aggies will rely on her heavily this weekend.
Could you see a scenario where she's used in every game?
Yeah. She has been used in all but one SEC series. She was used in all 3 games. And she's been about every situation you can put her in. Trisha Ford has prepared her pretty well for that. I could see definitely her getting a start Friday, Sunday, and then if they have to use someone to start that Saturday game, I could definitely see her come and relieve. But say Texas wins tonight, she's probably in for back-to-back days. So.
Yeah, I've said it before. Back when I covered softball at Texas, and they had that Osterman girl pitching, she pitched every game.
Yeah.
I'm told that since that was 20 years ago, things have changed. It's harder to do that, maybe. But I would always put out my best pitcher.
Yeah. Kay, I know you wrote a lot about the rivalry, being renewed. Just some thoughts that you heard from the players, from Trisha. I mean, obviously, this is more than a rivalry. This is for a chance to get to the College World Series, but it means something to them, right?
Yeah. Both players, Texas and A&M side, were both asked about, how familiar with the rivalry are. And they definitely, even on the Texas side, they said, we grew up knowing what it was. Coco and Emily were asked if they were recruited by Texas, and they kind of had a look of disgust a little bit on their face. They definitely know what this rivalry is. They know what it means. And also they're familiar playing here. They went down here in the Austin Regional last year, lost 11-5. So kind of stung. That was Trisha Ford's first season, and both Coco and Emily were on that squad. So there's definitely, it is Texas. So there's a level of competition there, but also the team that sent you home last year, there's going to be even more added pressure and expectation to get things done this weekend.
I always say that A&M should be good in everything.
Yeah.
And Texas should be good in everything. They have the same geographical advantages and everything. So Texas and A&M should be playing, just probably should be playing a week later.
Yep.
Always be playing in national championship type situations instead of trying to get to the national championship.
Well, and look, I think they were screwed. They were the 16 seed, and they're taking on
There's
the
no way they should have been the 16th.
No.
That's, again, don't mind playing Texas if it's organic. In fact, look forward to it. But when it's the NCAA gerrymandering it just to set up a matchup, that they shouldn't be doing it that way.
All right. Okay, great work. We look forward to seeing your reports throughout the weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Also, I had McDonald's yesterday, David. Thought you should know that.
Obi, when's the last time I had McDonald's?
I don't even know when was the last time I had McDonald's.
It's a good place. Steve McKinney, he's an owner of one of them, or a couple of them. I like it.
Believe it or not, I just don't eat that much fast food.
Their French fries are fantastic. Can we agree on that?
The last time I had them.
Fantastic. And also, Kay, you'll be proud of me for this, and I think I've said this before. My wife and I, first date, we went to go see Jurassic Park.
Oh, and you
back
had a
Caramel Sundae. So now, anytime there's Valentine's, Mother's Day, or anything like special, I always go get caramel sundae for my wife and the kids.
I used to get the Shamrock Shake around St. Patrick's Day. Do they still have that? The Shamrock? They do? Those are good.
I have no idea what you're
Shamrock Shake. It's a green milkshake.
I didn't know that was a thing.
It was good.
Yeah, I'll pass. Okay, great work. Thank you.
Of course.
Supersize it later. All right. Do they still supersize? Luke, you're a kid. You know.
No, they don't.
They stopped the supersizing?
Yeah, the Supersize Me documentary came out, and it was just not
great documentary.
Not a big hit with McDonald's.
See, to me, it should be somebody can say that's Michael Moore, right? I don't know, but some say, oh, this is bad. Well, you know what? If I want to eat bad food, it should be my prerogative. Or if I want to eat health food, nothing but wheat germ and kale, that should be my prerogative.
Bobby Brown, my prerogative.
My prerogative.
Coming back.
That's why I want it. Don't tell me how to live.
I guarantee they play that song. All right, we're going to hit a break. Milliken Reserve time, farm to table community. They are in College Station. They got homes, they got trails, they got wide open spaces, and they have animal noises just like this. And?
Hooty-hoo, go Rice. That's the owl.
Yeah. What else? What else do they have?
Do they have horses out there?
Of course. Cows? Cheetahs?
Hey, Georgia, put in your pitcher in the last inning and doctor the ball.
White-tailed deer?
Do white-tailed deer making noise?
Oh, yeah, they talk.
Oh, okay. I don't know their noise.
They don't have monkeys that I know. They don't have gorillas. They don't have, they might. I don't know. I don't think we'd find those here.
They told me if I would buy a 10-acre tract, I could put giraffes on there.
Well, there you go. Milliken Reserve,
2,600. I don't know if
2,600.
giraffes makes a noise.
Do you think those giraffes would like 2,600 acres of open space,
yeah.
30 miles of trails?
Yeah.
And an extensive network of trails for families to walk through?
Yeah. What if you could walk through them and see giraffes?
What if you could use the canoeing area?
Oh, that'd be fun.
Or the kayaking?
Well, it's the same thing, right?
Is it? Hiking? Different.
Hiking? I'm all for hiking.
Biking?
I like biking even better.
Fishing?
I haven't done a lot of fishing. I need to do more fishing.
You know what? Let's go fish sometime.
Let's go fishing.
OB, Nuño, my buddy Philip, we'll go fishing. All right?
Let's go fishing.
Let's go fishing. Go to MillikenReserve.com, or you can go fishing there too, by the way. But MillikenReserve.com is the website, MillikenReserve.com. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. So we've had a lot of things happening in college football, all leading up to what happened yesterday. We still got a ways to go. Dan Murphy of ESPN has been all over this story. He joins us here on TexAgs Radio. Dan, thanks for joining us, man. How are you?
Good morning, fellas. How we doing?
We're good, man. Let's it's kind of I don't know if it's a weird way to start the interview, but like, how did we get here? Like, I feel like just the dumb decisions of Mark Emmert and the NCAA are kind of why we fast forward to where we are here. Just kind of take us through how we ended up to yesterday's landmark day.
Yeah, it's been long overdue. I think over the course of the last 20 years, we've seen mostly lawsuits like the ones that are in the process of being settled right now chip away at the amateurism rules that have been a staple of college sports for 100 or so years at this point. And yesterday was a breaking point in that. I think what we've also seen over the last 20 years is that's happening is an explosion, like the graph of revenue for these big-time football programs and other college sports programs over that time period as conferences started their own TV networks and TV deals exploded and college football playoff arrived, has been exponential, and it's gotten to a point where there's too much money not to look at this and see it as the multi-billion-dollar entertainment industry that it is. And it took a while to basically force the NCAA and its schools into the corner in order to treat it more like a business. And, yesterday was a very, very significant step in them sort of acknowledging what this is and starting to share more money directly with players.
Hey, Dan, if this is Olin Buchanan, if I can read the fifth paragraph of your ESPN story today with Pete Thamel, right? It says all Division I athletes dating back to 2016 are eligible to receive a share as part of the settlement class. In exchange, athletes cannot sue the NCAA for other potential antitrust violations and must drop their complaints in 3 open cases: House versus NCAA, Hubbard versus NCAA, and Carter versus NCAA. My question to you is, who's representing the athletes in all this? Have I missed something?
So it's a good question. I mean, so technically, right, the guys that are filing this lawsuit, the plaintiff's lawyers, Steve Berman and Jeffrey Kessler, are the representatives of the athletes. They've been negotiating on their behalf. They sued on behalf of 3 named athletes, a college swimmer, a women's basketball player, and a former Illinois football player. But then they were granted class action status, which means they represented the interests of every Division I athlete during that time frame that you just mentioned. So they're the ones that are advocating on their behalf. However, it's not like they're polling every football player and every basketball player out there in order to reach this. They're not all sitting at the table during these negotiations. So there are certainly groups out there right now that feel like moving forward, athletes still need a bigger voice and still need to be able at the table and be part of negotiations. And while this settlement is a pretty big step forward to setting up the framework for the future, it does not eliminate the possibility that athletes might at some point have something that looks like a players' association and be able to bargain for potentially even more than what this settlement opens the door for.
And why would this settlement date back to 2016 athletes? Why do the 2015 athletes feel like they get hosed?
Yeah, it's a tough deadline there for some folks, I'm sure. So this lawsuit, the settlement that this case, the big case that this lawsuit settles, basically said that the NCAA was illegally restricting the way that college athletes were able to make money from their name, image, and likeness. Mm-hmm. And the lawsuit was filed in 2020. And just the way the court system works, there's a statute of limitations on how far back you can sue for lost money. And so that statute of limitations is 4 years. So you start the clock at 2020 and you go back 4 years, and that's where they get that deadline, which feels a little bit arbitrary, but that's why it's there.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Dan, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing 3 different areas, right? So you have the back pay, the $2.8 billion. You have schools permitted to share revenue where they don't necessarily have to go up to the $20 million, but they're allowed to go up to the $20 million number. And then power conferences are going to be able to make their own rules, if I'm understanding this correctly, with a new enforcement arm. So what are potentially some of those rules? Because I still think the guardrails need to be put in there for this sustainability, of college athletics.
So the third piece of that is still to be determined. The other one, those three, it's a good way to break it down into three different buckets. The third piece is still very much up in the air, right? As part of this, those schools would like to be able to, and the biggest piece of that they really want is to be able to control NIL collectives a little bit better and to separate endorsement deals an athlete gets for pumping a product like Gatorade or Nike and the type of deals that athletes have been getting in college sports in the past few years, where it's really more about their performance on the field than it is about endorsing a product. That remains a huge challenge. There are state laws that make it really hard for the NCAA to enforce anything. And I think that's why as soon as this settlement paperwork was made official last night, you heard the NCAA and conference commissioners start saying, we still need help from Congress. They'll still need a federal law, I think, in order to have any real teeth to whatever future enforcement mechanisms they want to put into place on this. Otherwise, they're going to be challenged. They're not done being in court. They're done being in court on these cases, but they're not done being in court. So some of that third bucket is what is still left to be settled here.
Dan, this is all over my head, but so the way I'm understanding this is the universities are going to be able to pay millions to players and divide it. But the NIL wasn't not that approved, or however you say, through the Supreme Court. So can you, with this plan that the settlement they're going, how can that affect, or can it affect how the players make? How much money they make in NIL?
I think like what Dan was alluding to is to make sure that it is Gatorade or a Nike, not just a collective that is doing that as a marketing arm. Am I understanding that correctly, Dan?
So that's a piece of it. There's a couple things there, and I apologize to the listeners here in advance because it is into the legal weeds a bit. But the Supreme Court decision actually didn't weigh in on name, image, and likeness directly. It just happened to come at the same time that a lot of these state laws made that possible. And what the Supreme Court decision did was basically, so for the past 30 or 40 years, college sports and the NCAA have operated with this idea that they are a unique, special industry because they are based in education. And because of that, the normal rules of antitrust law. And antitrust law says basically a whole bunch of businesses in the same industry can't get together and make rules that make it easier for them to keep money away from their laborers, their workers. And so what the Supreme Court said in 2021 was, college sports, you're not special, you're not different. The same rules apply to you, and that's why we've had this explosion of all these other lawsuits since then that have gained a lot more traction. The state laws are still in the way of all this, and it would still take a literal act of Congress, I think, in order to reel in some of the NIL spending that's happening now, and that's not going to happen immediately. That's what schools are hoping come out of this. But I don't think there's any guarantee there. As we said, this is obviously a very big step forward, but it is not a silver bullet that all of a sudden adds stability to college sports. There are still some big pieces of this yet to be sorted out. So there's good reason for all of this to be confusing, because even the people running college sports, the people that I've been talking to all week of athletic directors, are also confused by what this looks like going forward.
Dan, last thing for you. One of those questions, Title IX. So how's this going to play out? I know none of us have the answer to that, but just where's it trending? How about that?
Yeah, that's a big one and a huge concern from people in athletic departments right now. The schools are going to be paying this money directly, and Title IX requires schools to provide equal opportunity and equal benefits to men and women in college sports. So if the money is coming straight from the schools, there's a belief that that money will have to be, every dollar you spend on an athlete on a men's team, you'll have to spend that equal dollar on an athlete on a women's team. And so it's unclear whether that's going to be fully applied in this way, but it seems like it will, which means that $20 million big pot of money that we talked about is going to likely have to be split widely between men's teams and women's teams. So suddenly you're down to something that looks more like potentially a $10 million pot of money for your football and your basketball teams, which frankly is not much more than what a school like Texas A&M or a lot of other big-time programs are already sort of funneling into their football programs through their NIL collectives. So there's a version of this, depending on how the Title IX stuff shakes out, where it is a great deal for women's athletes. It's a really good deal for past athletes who get a chunk of that $2.8 billion pot of money that we talked about earlier. So it's really not much different for big-time college football programs in terms of the amount of money that's eventually landing in the pockets of their top athletes.
Dan, great reporting, man. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's do it again, all right?
Yeah, maybe we'll have some more answers here soon. But I will say that it is a big day, and by this time next year, we're going to be talking about how rosters are managed based on where schools are spending money on players, which will be a significant difference for college football fans.
That is right. We're looking forward to the changes, but I'm also kind of scared about them. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys.
I can see the frustration for like a football player and a basketball player that says, hey, we are making the money.
Yep.
Why don't we get the most of it? Why do we have to, why don't we, why does not the football or basketball players, men basketball players, why do they not get 80% of it?
Yep.
If we're making all of them, but that's just the way the laws are written.
Let's come back with bank on it. All right. We don't got baseball. We got some softball we can think about, some other things to get into. So we'll bank on it coming back here on TexAgs Radio. Let's talk a little Hush and Whisper. So they've been open for just a little over 6 months and are already getting a lot of props and a lot of love out there for their exemplary craftsmanship. The ADI, the American Distilling Institute, has them as outperforming the competition and medaling in each of the products entered, and they got a gold medal there in the best category awards for the original gin. And it's, you want gin, you want whiskey, you want it done the right way, you go to Hush and Whisper there in Bryan. They're the distillery located in the Verisco building of downtown Bryan. It just feels like you're back in the 1930s and 40s. This is an awesome vibe in there, but cool, hip, you name it. A place that you can go bring friends to, you can bring out-of-town guests, you can go just hang out with your wife or your loved ones. It's a great, great time. White whiskey's done there, original vodka, original gin, and they only source the finest local ingredients, and they're committed to highest quality of production there at Hush and Whisper. They are there to create an experience curated for authenticity and distilled with a purpose. Yeah, you can enjoy a cocktail when you go, absolutely, crafted with local spirits out there. But they want you to exist to inspire these moments of discovery when you go there to Hush and Whisper. They offer tastings to learn more about the nuances of flavor. They're not just spirits for shooting, but you can truly appreciate and enjoy the entire experience. You'll be able to learn about the Kentucky Chew. You can reserve a tour for tasting or just a tasting. You can book an event, meetings and celebrations, team building, come in for a cocktail or a mocktail, buy a bottle, experience it at home. Gin, vodka, white whiskey bottles are all for sale. They're open Thursday through Friday, 2 p.m. to 11 p.m., and then on Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., 219 North Main Street. Hushandwhisper.com is the website, hushandwhisper.com. Go check it out. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Go Hour coming to a close here, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. By the way, Dan Murphy was fantastic.
I thought he was.
He was
excellent.
He was really good. Good information. We'll get him back on the show. Time to bank on it, OB. Presented by Vera Bank. Authentic relationship-based banking built for real life. Go see Joel Jackson and the team. Learn more at verabank.com. What are you banking on?
Well, I'm kind of a degenerate gambler sometimes when I have the money to spend. And if I'm playing like, say, black roulette, maybe the black numbers keep coming up. So I'm going to keep, going with the black number because it's hot. So I'm going to go with what's hot. So I'm going with Mary still hot, right? She won singles again, right? So now she's advancing today. Did I say the name wrong?
Yeah, you did. But you did your move though, which is a great move. I laugh because I know you. You say it fast and kind of quiet at the end.
Right.
Yeah, I know that move.
She's won 17 straight singles matches, and today it's 11:30. She's facing Miami's Alexa Noel, or probably Noel. I don't know, but I'm counting on Mary. I'm counting on Mary S. I'm banking on her to win again.
A national championship?
I wouldn't bet against her. She's too hot.
Luke, tell me how this is. I bank on Emily Kennedy winning game 1 of this Austin Super Regional. What do you think?
I think that's great, and I would bet on her winning game 2.
Bro, if that happened.
Just go with your best pitcher as long as she can pitch.
OB, fun hour, buddy. Thank you. When we come back on TexAgs Radio, 2 baseball guys. That's it. Not the baseball bunch. 2 baseball guys. Sorry, but it's going to be good. It's TexAgs Radio. It's our fault. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. We have to rebrand this segment. We're going to call it Two Baseball Dudes in One Show.
Whoa, hey.
Two Baseball Dudes in One Show. You guys are both baseball guys.
There are no sister shows.
There's the baseball bunch when Bronny's here, and this is Two Baseball Dudes.
Okay.
Is that fair? Or
Yeah,
are we still the
but
baseball
We're
bunch?
not sitting 5 feet apart, though. So that's a vine.
You just didn't want to. You just didn't want to be over
wouldn't
there.
get it.
Yeah.
No vines. These people wouldn't get the vines.
Vines
Can I get a? Can somebody in the back
Tell
at
Richard
least
I
let me
get
know?
it, David.
You guys know what I'm talking about
Nick
with the
gets
vines?
it. He gets it. Vines were a thing like 10 years ago, right?
10 years ago. Am I that old?
Yeah. Vines? It's been
Does
a
that
while.
have something to do with grapes and wine?
They were like...
yes, but not this kind of vine.
What would you call vines? They were like...
They were 6-second videos. It was TikTok before TikTok.
TikTok, there you go.
And it was better than TikTok because it didn't share your...
But Vines was its own website, right?
Yeah, Vine was its own website. I think it got rolled into Twitter at some point, but like it wasn't like a Chinese company that was just mining all your information like certain short video.
You know
sites
your
do now.
audience.
Oh, yeah.
TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Two baseball guys here. All right, so I started the show concerned, and I went through some numbers, okay? Doesn't mean I don't think this team can win a national championship. Doesn't mean that I don't believe that they're going to be great at home because they've been great at home all season long. But I looked at the numbers, and I don't know if you heard the opening segment. I went through some of these numbers over the last 12 games, and they're averaging 6.16 runs per game. If you take out the Rice game, which I know you can't take it out, but take out the Rice game, they're averaging closer to 5. Over the last 8 games, they're averaging, 4.5 runs per game? Over the season, almost 9 runs per game. That's why I'm concerned. Are you concerned?
No, I'm not concerned.
Okay.
I think that you saw good pitching. You saw 2 guys at LSU that obviously have them as hot as anybody in the country right now. More concerned about a couple games against Mississippi, considering how their season ended. I'm not concerned about anything that happened against LSU. I'm not concerned about anything that happened against Mississippi State. I'm not concerned about anything that happened against Tennessee. I think you're talking about a team that's very hot, and you're talking about 2 teams that are going to be hosts next week in Mississippi State and Tennessee, and one of those is going to be a top 8 national seed. You were competitive in all but one game, and that's one of the games that happened to be against Mississippi that you weren't competitive in. If it's a period of time where you weren't competitive, then I would be more concerned. The scores are going to be compacted. These games are played at a different intensity and level for certain teams you're playing. I wasn't worried when Boomer White's batting average came down at the end of his season at A&M. I wasn't concerned when Tyler Naquin's numbers went down. I wasn't concerned when Braden Shoemake's numbers went down. I'm not going to be concerned when Braden Montgomery's numbers are down because I know what their talent level is. I also know that there is a book that has been now reinforced on how to pitch to these batters that I don't think you're going to play teams in the first week and maybe not the second week unless you're playing another SEC team that can match the proficiency at which the Aggie offense is being pitched to with a game plan that they are only throwing pitches that are strikes or have generated strikes during the SEC season and have the ability to do it with repetition. That's what I think why the numbers have gone down for important pieces of the A&M offense.
You make me feel much better. Thank you for that. Richard, are you concerned?
Not any more than I think if Scotty is or Bronny is or anybody like that. They didn't play well this weekend, and that's okay because or I guess not even this weekend. They didn't play well this week, but that's okay because it's not next weekend or the weekend after. It saw them play not well against LSU in Baton Rouge. They lost 2 games up. They lost 2 games because of it. And yesterday, the way they played defensively felt very similar to those 2 games, those 2 losses at Alex Box Stadium. They weren't crisp defensively, and then they got the big hit, right? Oli Camarillo on a double play ball, throws it into the dugout. Oh well, the guy moves up to second. It could have been inning over. 3-run homer later, and you're thinking, oh no, here we go again. But it's Thursday in Hoover, Alabama, when you've got a top 5 national seed already wrapped up. It's okay. It truly is okay. The adage is that good pitching will beat good hitting every time and vice versa. They've gotten beat by good pitching. Think about last year at the SEC tournament. Texas A&M came into Hoover fighting for its postseason life, needing 1, maybe 2, possibly 3 just to get into a regional. And what do you get? You get an all-time performance from Troy Wansing. And then you follow that up with an all-time performance from a true freshman in Justin Lampkin. Think about who A&M had to face this week. They had to face a first-team All-SEC starter in Cal Stevens, who had already beat them once this year at Bluebell Park. That's okay. Sometimes you got to face good pitching. But good pitching can still get beaten. Look at Hagen Smith yesterday. 2 unearned runs. He gets saddled with his first loss of the year. Arkansas is 0-2 as well. Are the Hogs worried? No, because they've got Hagen Smith going game 1 in a regional or a super regional. Guess what? The Aggies have a guy who should be a first-team All-SEC pick, Ryan Prager, going game 1, game 2 of a regional or super regional. That provides me with a lot of comfort knowing that, especially how good he's been at home, once they get back to this environment, once they have some time to rest, reflect, and truly get their mind right, because I know that ball club and that coaching staff, they're not at all happy with what happened in Alabama. And they're going to come back here and they're going to get back to work after giving themselves the necessary or allotted time to rest and reflect. And they're going to hit the ground running and be ready for regionals. And that's all you can do.
So 5-7 in our last 12. If that was the way we started SEC play, would we be concerned then?
Are they concerned with LSU?
If you start 5-12, but you go on the run that they went on, where they win, what was it, their first 7 SEC series, and you close the year on 7 straight SEC series victory, are you concerned?
No, you're feeling great.
No, it's the same. That's the same thing that happened in 2022.
And that's what LSU is doing right now. Are they as concerned that they started the conference play at 10-15, or are they more excited about how they're playing right now?
Right now.
Yes, but what I'm saying is
they've got to be. It's all about right now for them, right?
It's all about right now for them. What it is for Arkansas, for Tennessee, for Kentucky, and A&M is our season in total. This is who we are. This is what we've been all year long. So you have different perspectives. Okay? Where you don't want to be is Florida. Where you don't want to be is a team that has been in the middle and has had no push at the end. And I don't think Florida's going to the NCAA tournament. But if you had been Vandy and you had had the record to get you in and you went either 0-1 or you went 1-2 in Hoover, then have you shown yourself to be what you were the whole season? Or are you still a mediocre SEC team that because you're in the SEC team, you can go win games next week and maybe get to super regional play? There's all different levels of it. I think the season in total for this Aggie baseball team is a lot more important than the 5-7 they've been, when basically they have played a poor game against Ole Miss during that time where you weren't competitive. Even games where you didn't play well against LSU where you were competitive yesterday. This team is not tanked. And I think that would be a different situation if this team, I looked at it and said, this team is tanking. They're just not playing well. They're giving up 3 times the runs they were giving up, and they're scoring a third. That's a tank to me. That's where what concern would be. I'm not concerned about this team, who they're going to play next week, and, who they play the week after that is a different situation. Super regional play, you better play at your best. Because we saw 2 years ago, that Louisville team that came in here was playing at its best. You had to play at your best to go to the College World Series. That's what I expect in 2 weeks, no matter what A&M's seeding is and no matter A&M who they're matched up against.
What was A&M's best, Scotty? Well, this A&M team, the 2024 team, what was their best?
Probably Georgia. Probably
Vanderbilt. Georgia, those 5 games. So were
Mississippi State on the road?
No, Mississippi State was here.
No, Mississippi, Alabama.
Alabama on the road?
Yes.
So, but you would describe that as their best? But they weren't dominant. I don't think they were, outside of those 2 weekends.
They had to have some comebacks in those.
Yes, and that's okay.
Yes.
Right? You can also look at early in the season. I don't think they were at their best early in the season, but they started what? 15-0.
Yeah.
They've swept their way through what we thought was going to be good competition, perhaps not playing at the dominant level we saw later in the year against teams like Arizona State, USC, Texas, who could come here as a 2-seed or a 3-seed in a regional somewhere. But they won games. They found ways to win. They're going to be able to recall all of that experience.
100%.
It's not just going to be what's happened the last 4 weeks.
But you can understand the concern, though, right? Like, I'm not like
Sure.
on an island. Like, it's it's a couple of weeks of like we haven't won as many games.
Do you think that at Kentucky they're concerned?
I don't know how they finished the season outside of the SEC
Well,
tournament.
time out.
They did the exact same thing. Arkansas just did the exact same thing that A&M did.
I'll go beyond that. You guys are both Astros fans. So in 2021, you can make the case that might be one of the best teams ever constructed. I don't know what the regular season record was. But when you get into a division series, a league championship series, a World Series, are you not on some level concerned?
Always.
Because you know this is it. The games matter the most right now.
Yeah.
If you're feeling a level of concern for Texas A&M baseball, it should only be because
the stakes are higher.
The stakes have been raised significantly, and now it truly matters. And we know what they're capable of. We know their talent level. They've got it for days. They're deep. They've got if I'm concerned about anything, it's starting pitching. But they've shown they can do it in different ways. Ryan Prager's an All-SEC selection. Brad Rudis has looked really good as an opener. I liked what I've seen from Tanner Jones, Shane Sadeo. Justin Lampkin earlier this year was SEC Pitcher of the Week. They've got the pieces there, and it's like your guy Pat Henry always tells you. It's about doing it on that weekend, on that day. Because if not, everybody else can beat you. This is the best. It's the best 64 teams in the country.
I do want to move on from this point because I think you guys have made me feel better, and this is a therapy session, so understand that. But I'm going to read you this text that came in from John. It says, if we were playing a super regional and LSU was coming to town, would you feel confident?
I think A&M's a better team than LSU.
I would not feel any less confident than I did against Louisville 2 years ago, and Louisville was a better team than LSU. That was just as hot. A&M is better.
Think about what
especially at home, right? Like it's a different animal.
And we've already seen LSU, and we saw LSU on the road. Think about what it took for LSU to win that series. LSU played and they have sustained this. They have played their best baseball since that Friday night in Baton Rouge. They have sustained it for the last 3-4 weeks, whatever it is. It took LSU's best baseball and A&M's worst baseball for LSU to squeak out two-run wins at home at Alex Buck Stadium. Think about it. It took their best to beat A&M at their worst by a thin margin.
I think that's why maybe I am concerned because we've seen some of the worst, and to me it's a momentum sport, but you can't read Hoover into the season. So I get all that.
How many times have you not been worried or how many times have you gone into a super regional weekend that A&M's been playing in thinking, oh, well,
it's a walkover?
A&M's it's a walkover. I think maybe once.
But we're not there.
Maybe once.
Right.
We're not there yet.
Yeah,
though.
no.
And I had to respect Davidson because they had been at North Carolina and won that series.
Exactly.
But did I think it was a walkover? I thought they were going to punch their ticket. Okay? Every other super regional time, home or on the road. Actually, the next time I thought A&M I was less concerned was when they went to Florida State, which has a history of being a program that chokes in the postseason. Okay? But every other time that they've been super regional play, I have not thought that whether they were the best team in the country going to super regional or a team that struggled to get through a regional, that they didn't have a chance to win and go to Omaha.
All right, let's talk about the offense. You gave us a little bit of that perspective that the book is out. What is wrong offensively, though, if you were to point at one thing? Richard, you start us off.
One thing. I mean,
if you could point at a couple things, but maybe not one thing. But if you can take, what do you think is wrong offensively? Is there something wrong offensively?
I'm not sure there is something wrong offensively.
They haven't walked as much.
Scott's got the numbers to say that they haven't walked as much. Then that's the numbers.
Because they have turned opportunities that were multi-run home runs, because they're still hitting home runs. And the reason why you lost to Tennessee yesterday is because you had a couple free bases in front of a big hit. The reason why you lost to Mississippi State in game one is you had a couple free bases that were in front of a big hit. A&M has not walked as much as they are. You still have guys that get the opportunity and they have been driving in runs. We've talked about different parts of the lineup. Has the bottom of the lineup got on in front of the top of the lineup at the same proficiency that they did 3 weeks ago? I don't think they are. So when you're looking at the number that Braden Montgomery is, what is he doing? How is he succeeding or failing in this situation? Would it be better that your 8 and 9 hole are on when Gavin Grahovic hits 2 home runs yesterday and you're scoring, you have a 2-run inning or a 3-run inning because those guys are on? You got to look at everybody and how they're performing, and I just don't think they're walking as much as they were before.
And walks come when your deep end counts. What else comes when your deep end counts? Strikeouts, and that's where a lot of the consternation. I know the guy who sits in this chair before I did is not happy with the strikeout numbers, but he's had it explained to him that it might. I don't want to say strikeouts don't matter because they do, but as long as you can outslug those strikeout numbers, and they have for a significant amount of time, then you'll take it.
So we fully expect A&M to be a top 5 seed, and do you guys fully expect for Texas to be the 2 seed?
To be honest with you, I don't pay much attention to...
Okay, well, I'm going to look at right now what D1 Baseball put out. Okay, they put out A&M as the 4 seed. They have with Texas, California, and Abilene Christian. You're going to get a Texas school that comes in as the 4 seed. You're going to get another regional team from this area that they don't have to put on an airplane to come in and be the 2 seed. That looks like Texas right now. They don't have a lot of games out on the West Coast, so they're going to ship a West Coast team east, and you're going to be the first place that they come to. All right? Matched up against Stillwater, which has Oklahoma State, LSU, Oregon, and McNeese. Okay? McNeese doesn't have to get on a plane to go to Oklahoma State. LSU is a 2 seed that's in the same region, and they're moving another West Coast team east. All right? This right here looks like the classic NCAA super regional pairing, because you are eliminating 2 Big 12 teams, you're eliminating 2 SEC teams, and you're eliminating 2 West Coast teams. They don't want it to be a regional tournament. They know only one team out of the Pac-12, SEC, or Big 12 is going to come out of this tournament. That is exactly what they want to do. D1 Baseball is also smart that they have a 1, a 4, a 5, and an 8 from the SEC as super regional, as national seeds. So you would have one side of the bracket that can only produce one SEC team for the finals because they don't want it to be SEC versus SEC. I heard you talking about the gerrymandering that went on with softball. It's not going to change next year. The SEC is going to do this exact same thing time and time again to try to make the tournament spread across the country. Now, would I be concerned with Texas coming in? Did Texas just go 0-2 in the Big 12 tournament?
They sure did.
Then, and am I going to be worried about their third-place team? Take Texas off the name. Their third-place team that just went 0-2 in their tournament coming to Texas A&M against an A&M team that has been in the top 5 all year long. I'm not going to be as concerned about that. Would you be concerned bringing up LSU? There's more concern, and the texter was right, that LSU runs through a super regional because they're as hot as any team in the country, and then they're in super regional play. That might be a legitimate concern. But Oklahoma State, if they go and win that regional and beat one of the hottest teams in the country, is going to be a legitimate team coming to Texas A&M. You're not going to pay – the Davidson happens once every 15 years. It happened at Nebraska when their third straight College World Series team had the exact same thing happen to Rob Childress when he was assistant coach in Nebraska. That happens once every 15 years. Otherwise, you're going to get a good team winning a regional and coming to your place when you're a top 8 seed.
Well, let me just I have 2 levels of when I have concerns. It works multiple ways. I will have concern for whatever 2 seed comes here because they're a pretty good team. Like that's yes, normal level.
There's a reason why they're a 2 seed.
Right? So there's that. Then there's my level of concern is I just don't like the results recently. Level of concern. And the body of work tells me A&M at home, I don't care who comes here, we're going to be fine. That's the body of work. The recent bias or the recency, I'm like, man, we just haven't been playing our best, but we are playing our best at home. So, again, I do the seesaw, and that's how I
Do you want to think about the A&M team that played Arkansas?
I like that team. That team's fun.
You want to think about the A&M team that played Mississippi?
I like the team that played Arkansas.
I like the team that played Vanderbilt.
I love that team. That team's great.
Right.
And I like the team that played Georgia. I do.
I like the team that played South Carolina. Have I watched South Carolina this week?
They're pretty good. Cole Messina's having a tournament MVP kind of week.
Yeah, and to do that, considering who some of the other tournament MVP candidates are.
Well, A&M saw him, Husak, or however
so
you
I'm
pronounce
just,
that name.
I understand that. If it had been Arkansas, LSU, Mississippi, and that had been your last 3 weeks, maybe, and then you go 0-2 in the tournament, then maybe I see where you're coming from.
All right.
But isn't that what we're talking about with Arkansas, who is already at home, who has as good a pitching staff as anybody in the country?
Yeah.
Was their weakness exposed, which was scoring runs? Was their weakness exposed? A little bit. Are they concerned about it right now? No. They're going to run Hagen Smith out in first game of the regional.
They're concerned. I mean,
No.
their fans are concerned for sure. I saw them on social.
Yes, their fans are.
And media too. They're concerned.
I think our fans are concerned, but I don't think anybody in that clubhouse is concerned.
That's where.
No,
Yes.
and that is but they are.
And I'm talking about the cream of the cream.
But it is a talking point. You understand?
Yes.
Like it's
if A&M had beat Tennessee yesterday, do you think that in Tennessee's dugout
they'd be talking? Oh,
no,
the players themselves?
The
No,
players
no.
and the coaches.
No.
When they left Hoover, went home, played in their squads, got their starting pitchers that didn't pitch this week ready to go, and were playing. If Kentucky had been the 0-2 team, these 4 teams are playing at a level that a bad trip to Hoover doesn't matter.
I like hearing that. Let's hit a break. Right now, we're talking FBS Appliance and their team of experts there. Help you find whatever appliance that fits your house, your needs. They carry all the big brands to make your life easier with appliances that fit any budget. They've been carrying for Texas since 1988, and they have the trusted brands like Bosch and expert staff and trained installers to guide you through your purchase because FBS Appliance is your trusted appliance store. They also have services, right? It's not just sales there. They offer expert installation services carried out by skilled technicians. They understand the intricacies of installation, ensuring that the appliances are set up correctly and operate smoothly. To streamline the process, they utilize innovative approaches like pre-walk video, allowing for a visual assessment of the space before installation. This helps them identify potential challenges or adjustments needed for successful installation. They're committed to delivering an exceptional experience from start to finish. You can trust them to give you unparalleled service out there. Visit any of their 8 showrooms across Texas or find them online, factorybuilderstores.com. That is factorybuilderstores.com. All right, two baseball guys here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Scott Clendenin and Richard Zane. I don't even know if I said your names.
That's a really nice shirt, David.
So is yours. You know, Olin has a very nice one on today, too.
Yeah, but it's a little different. It's not the same.
It's not the same
but
cut?
it's very, very similar. Scott, I'm very sad that you didn't get the memo. Where's your TexAgs merch?
I'm still waiting for that.
Oh, yeah, Nick's got you.
Okay,
he'll
thank you.
take care of you. Yeah, he gets a lot of free stuff, so he'll hook you up.
Okay.
All right. Inside
Nick
joke.
getting all the free stuff. I know that's not true.
I know.
Nick, here's your free shout out though.
We love Nick. All right. So Gavin Grohovac yesterday. Nice to see him get back. A couple of home runs. Just what have you seen from him recently, Scotty?
It's kind of funny that we have talked about his season and comparing it to Jace last year.
Mm-hmm.
And here he is surpassing it.
Yep.
I mean, that is a great day. He hit the ball over the field. Okay. I'm not even as concerned as his defensive here recently, because he's not going to play on a turf that he is not used to playing at until he's in Omaha. So I he looks as good as Jace Lavalette did last year. How can you not say that? Okay, I know there's some people, and I think it was USA Today had Alabama shortstop as SEC Freshman of the Year.
And not
for the same reason
away
that
from
Jace
Justin LeBron either.
And then Jace last year was an SEC Freshman of the Year. This guy came in with a target on his back, preseason SEC Freshman of the Year. Okay, how hard is that to live up to that? Tommy Cruz did when he was a freshman at LSU. We're talking about the elite of the elite that when they're done in the conference of conferences, that's your top 5 pick. And that's what he's done. That's what he's setting himself up to have a career where when he's done after 3 years at A&M, he's a top 5 draft pick from the Major League Draft.
By the way, Nick just pointed out he has the longest home run of the SEC tournament, his second one yesterday. What was it, 436 feet, I think is what Nick said?
Yeah.
So, just tells you.
I didn't get to see it. I was driving to Houston, but yeah, I mean, it took a lot to get him here, right? Mm-hmm. He could have been drafted last year out of high school and been somewhere riding the buses in the minor leagues and making a name for himself in professional baseball and potentially rising up the ladder in somebody's farm system. But he's here, and he's a special player. He's just the second SEC Freshman of the Year in Texas A&M history, joining a big leaguer in Braden Shoemake. I was shocked that Jace wasn't it last year. It's home run number 20 yesterday. He completes the first 20 home run trio in Texas A&M history with Lavalette and Braden Montgomery. And then for good measure, he ties Lavallette's rookie record. 21 home runs as a freshman is a lot. And 21 home runs in this league is a lot.
And counting, by the way.
Yeah. How many of his home runs have come in conference play?
Yeah.
It's a large majority of it.
And that's how Jace was last year.
Yep.
He did not have a bunch of, because he got pitched around in non-conference play.
Yep.
Okay, you're going to have Daylon Holt on today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Daylon Holt was told his sophomore year by Craig Kuzmic, go out and destroy my record. Okay? Now you're talking about a guy that in short order, in 2 or 3 years, could have 2 players that are on this Aggie baseball team break his career record. And Daylon Holt will be happy about it because he knows that his team, his alma mater, will be playing at a very high level to have that happen. These guys root for each other. I'm sure that when Jace hits number 22, when he goes between third and home, when Gavin hits number 22, he's coming
Jace
between.
will be the first one there.
Jace is the first one there. He's going to have a huge smile on his face.
Yep.
He's going to know that he's just broken the record that he set last year. And he knows that whatever I do in the next 2 years, or a year and whatever the rest of the season is, I'm batting behind a guy that's probably has a chance to break my records.
Hey, can you real quick, you don't have to be real quick, we're up against the break, but just kind of remind the audience of what Daylon Holt did in 1999, because I was looking at those numbers and I remember I was in school when that happened, but just to see it today and my goodness.
350-ish.
341.
Yep, 34 home runs, broke the home run record by 9 that Craig Kuzmic had set the year before, and 104 RBIs.
Isn't that ridiculous?
It's insane. In how many games? 60 games?
60
70 games?
Yeah.
Yeah. And just to close the book on the Gavin Grohovic, Jace Levelett. Gavin's yesterday home runs 14 and 15 versus SEC pitching in 30 games. So he's played 32 games against SEC competition. I can't pull it up quickly because I forget what Jace did in last year's SEC tournament. He also had more opportunities because they played many more games than A&M did in Hoover this year. He had 15 home runs in 30 conference games.
Goodness gracious.
So,
this is the cream of the crop. And this is why A&M's program is not going to have a significant fall off, even when you lose some of the guys that are on this team, because of what's going to be in the middle of your lineup next year.
And I know he didn't have a good defensive game yesterday. Gavin will tell you that. He had 3 throws to first base that pulled Burton off the bag. Okay. But he strikes out a lot. I think he leads the SEC in strikeouts. Stop complaining or debating the idea that Gavin Grohovic should be moved down in the order. Just stop. That's a waste of your time. Stop. He needs to be there. He's been successful there all year long. Leave him there.
Set a break here. We'll come back more with 2 baseball guys here on TexAgs Radio. It's Rollo Insurance time. They are the official insurance provider of TexAgs Radio. The difference is real. They're an independent insurance company built around educating you on exactly what you're paying for, doing the shopping for you so that you can accomplish your insurance goals. And we started using them in 21 when we moved here, right? Went to Jason's office, and we became friends right away. And then Jackson's kind of heading up the business as well. And we've become tight friends. Morgan over there, Keith. There's a lot of great people there at Rollo Insurance. And I think that's the part for, anybody who's listening that's a big Aggie, they're Aggies, right? They love this program. They love Aggie athletics. They're diehards, right? But especially if you live here in the Brazos Valley and the Bryan College Station area, you can see Rollo Insurance wherever you go, right? They are a part of this community. They are a big part of this community, and they are right here. Their headquarters is on Highway 6. They've got 53 offices in the great state of Texas, but you can find them all around the country. They are the best when it comes to finding you the right insurance for your needs. Their number, 888-44-ROLLO, 888-44-ROLLO, or go to rolloinsurance.com. That is rolloinsurance.com. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Two baseball guys here with us for another half hour, guys. We're just powering through here.
Bronny's not here, which means I have talked a lot.
Yeah.
Which means when I get off this desk at
9:57,
for those 3 minutes before you call your next guest, I am going to hear about all of the words I have said.
Yeah.
It will be, I'm sure, a very mocking tone. And I can't wait for it.
Well, maybe we'll just do this. Two baseball guys moving forward, right? that's
sure.
what we do.
Thanks. It's been nice being on TexAgs with y'all.
You got to bring Bronny back.
It's been nice being on TexAgs with y'all. Maybe you'll have me come back next Friday.
Hey, all right, let's talk Shane Sadeo, because do you feel look, there's a lot. We'll see what the matchups are on Monday. We'll know a lot more. I know that. But for conversation's sake, you think he's going to pitch that first game of the regional?
I mean, that remains to be seen. That's always the big debate, is whether or not you pitch back, right? Do you save Ryan Prager for game 2 in the winner's bracket or the loser's bracket? A lot of people can argue that that's the most important game of the year, right?
Or
you're either going home or you're sitting in the driver's seat. But, I mean, I don't know. I think at the very least, Shane Sadeo is going to make a start in that series, maybe game 1, game 2. But I don't have any concern with Shane. He's only made 3 starts this year, one of them on much shorter rest than normal. That was his start against Arkansas. He's going to have 14 days worth of rest between his last start and his next start. So
I think he's starting this week against his own team this weekend.
Yeah, he'll get some sim.
And it's not. No, I don't think it's sim game. I'm thinking they're going to be playing a real game. Okay, and this is my personal opinion. I don't know if y'all heard the pregame show yesterday with Andrew and Coach Schloss.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I did not.
He wanted to win. Okay, I know that he said that he wanted to win at pace. Okay, pace was the only and the only way that you get to start your starters and control them pitching in the SEC tournament is to win game 1. He played game 1 like he needed to win it. If he had won game 1, Sadeo or Lampkin would be starting today. Starting yesterday. Okay, you would control when people pitch. And you're not mortgaging next week by pitching somebody too much.
That's why you only saw Ryan Prager throw 53 pitches.
Okay, you would have had an opportunity to see those guys go. I think that's why Coach says, I want to win these games. Because he understands that then he has a regular week before next week. Now he's going to do it against his own team. I was just going to look back and see who started in the NCAA tournament against Oral Roberts, because I couldn't remember. And Oral Roberts is the same kind of team, maybe a little bit better, and Micah Dallas started. So he didn't throw his number 1 2 years ago. So there is history while he's at A&M that, hey, Micah Dallas, who had been, after the first pitch at the SEC tournament, wonderful the rest of the way out.
Yeah, he was.
Up until that point in time, you might have been rolling the dice to start Micah Dallas in that. You're probably not feeling the same way about Shane Sadeo right now.
No, I'm pretty confident in what Shane Sadeo provides you, whether as a starter, as a middle to long relief guy out of the bullpen. He's been an effective weapon for this team all year long. And, if he does get the start in game 1, I feel just as confident as I would in Ryan Prager starting against a 2 seed.
So. And Nathan Detmer started game 2 against Lafayette.
A couple of texts coming in. PG Ag and King Oaks. The team looked a little worn down. Getting rest at home will help. Thoughts?
Yeah, rest can only help you for sure. I feel like, and I saw a lot of this in yesterday's game thread, a lot of people jumping to the conclusion that they're worn out or they're flat based on the first inning and a half, the results of those at-bats. That's crazy. I think they came ready to play, but at the same time, as the theme has been win at the right pace, and I think the team knows that they didn't truly have much to play for outside of winning the SEC tournament, which, as Bronny will tell you, you always care about winning, and if there's a trophy to be won, if there's hardware to be won, they always want to go out and get it and give it their best shot. But once it became clear that that was going to take a lot out of them, I think they were okay getting back home and getting to sleep in their own beds and getting to rest up for the biggest week of the year.
Rest or routine?
So this is funny. Back-to-back texts about the same thing. Mike says, hey, baseball group, give this to Schloss. It's so easy to use. Just flip it. It's a picture of a light switch. followed by Bob in Kentucky. Light switch is flipped at home next week, and
that's what I'm saying. I think they're going to try to have as routine, having a day off today. I think they're going to try to have as much routine on Saturday and Sunday as they normally would have had, because you're going to be playing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then next week, the week after that, if you're advanced to Super Regional, you're either playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or you're playing Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Right.
So you get back to the routine. There is nothing about this coaching staff at any situation they're going to be put in that they haven't done for years and years and years. So they're going to get back to the routine of postseason baseball that Coach Schlossnagle has in his coaching handbook, whether they had continued to win last week or like Coach Schloss talked about, hey, we went 0-2 in the Big 12 tournament, which is kind of crazy thinking back at it. They went 0-2 in the Big 12 tournament. Then that was the year when A&M and them played the crazy series up in Fort Worth. If they hadn't gone 0-2 and they had been at the 6 or 7 seed line, A&M wouldn't have been matched up against them, except the NCAA would have gerrymandered it to happen anyway. But I was saying, they were fine after that. He's had teams that made deep runs in the Big 12 tournament. They were fine that went to Omaha. The team last year had the run in the SEC tournament. It was fine when they went to Stanford. They know what routine they need to have, and I'm not concerned about the routine that A&M baseball will have tomorrow, Sunday, Monday through Thursday before they play next Friday.
It'll be interesting, and certainly, Scott, to your point, a lot of merit in that and staying in routine and staying on schedule, same schedule you've been on for the entire year. It'll be interesting, and I'd be curious to know how they set up their week last week and how they'll set up their week this week, because remember, the NCAA requires you have one off day in a 7-day
even when
period,
school is out.
Even when school is out, and travel doesn't account for that. So even though they're not playing today and they're just coming home, that doesn't count as an off day. So does Monday count as an off day?
I think Monday is their normal off day.
Even though Monday is going to require some sort of team meeting, is that an off day? Because they're all going to be together, and they're all going to be required to be together. It'll be interesting, but I have no concern level as far as them being on a schedule and in a routine that will situate them best to go out and attack the 2024 Bryan College Station Regional and have success.
So this has nothing to do with the baseball bunch, but some sad news to report. So earlier in the show, we were joking about Supersize and McDonald's food. Today, the guy who made that movie, Supersize Me, Morgan Spurlock, died of cancer. So that just came out here a few minutes ago. So I only bring that up because we were talking about supersizing earlier. So just terrible, terrible news. So I watched that documentary. It was excellent. I
watched it a couple times. It's very, very interesting. It makes you want to stop eating McDonald's.
Thoughts and prayers there to Morgan Spurlock's family. We'll hit a break here. We'll come back with one final segment of the two baseball guys here on TexAgs Radio. Heritage Films time. Let's talk about it. Let's get a Scott Clendenin documentary. That'd be cool. About his humble beginnings back in the day when, he was just a young pup. Aren't we like the same age? There was not black and white.
Dude.
We're close to the same age, right?
You weren't born in the 60s. I was.
That's a good point. All right. I was just trying to make you feel younger. I'm sorry. But back in the day, in the mid-'90s, when he was just launching this baseball career, telling that story, and then all his love for softball, baseball. How about doing a documentary about that he can share with his kids and then their kids and their kids? Be awesome. And that's
generational.
It is moving. It is generational. What else? Give us another word, Richard.
I think we need the year flicks for the slugger as she heads up to play college softball.
Yeah.
Do you know about the year flicks?
No, I don't.
Do you want me to tell you about the year flicks?
Yeah, tell me off the air about the year flicks.
No, I'm going to tell you during the commercial because it's part of this. This is it's a 20-minute Q&A video reserved for the younger. It's like a documentary, but it's faster paced, a little bit more social media.
It's a Vine type thing.
Yeah, but
a little longer than 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Though.
Hey now, it's more like 20-minute Q&A, finding out where the kids are, what they're into now, what they want to study in school, and then you follow up a couple years from now and get another year flicks done and become like a 2, 3, 4-part series out there. The website is yourheritagefilm.com. yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341 is Heritage Films. Estamos aquí with the two baseball dudes, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Trey in College Station sends in. Context matters, guys. The book is out with elite pitchers. Other than Ole Miss, we just ran through a gauntlet of elite pitching staffs. LSU, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Tennessee. We will not see another staff at the caliber until at least the Supers and most likely Omaha. Plus, even Archie with Hagen Smith couldn't beat us twice at home. In the words of Aaron Rodgers, relax.
I agree with that, and to that end, right? You're going to have to face and beat elite pitching at some point during the NCAA tournament if you are going to reach the pinnacle and win a national title. So, all of these are reps. All of this data is being logged and digested, and they'll come out against if they have to face a Hagen Smith again. They've already seen him once. They've got a plan of attack. It'll be better than it was last time. Hagen Smith was really good against them. They had no answer for Hagen Smith. They had answers in the 11th inning, but they won that game.
Yep.
I think that, I probably said that exact same thing in a different way. I just...
To be fair,
during
this hour, we say all of the words in the Merriam-Webster dictionary in a multitude of different ways.
Like I said, I would be much more concerned if Arkansas happened 3 weeks ago and LSU and Mississippi had happened after that.
You're not.
They went on the road for 2 straight weeks. At the time, earlier in the year, they had 2 consecutive home weekends and played great ball. They went on the road. They played 1 game where they weren't competitive into the 9th inning of those 3 weeks. They were competitive in the loss against Arkansas. They've been competitive when they've been in Hoover.
Competitive in the loss to Georgia that people like to bring up so much.
Yeah.
It was game 2 of a doubleheader.
So this team is the team that has the second best RPI and a top 8 national seed. That's what this team is.
We have 3 minutes left, so we spent a big portion of this show responding to some of my concerns. So let's close out with reasons for optimism, all right? Not just combating concerns. Why you're optimistic, Scotty?
I'm optimistic because I think that the pitching staff has a better grasp on what they want to do on the starting rotation right now than they have since before Georgia when Tanner Jones had the issue and had that huge first inning against them. And I've seen Tanner Jones come back and be pretty efficient in what he's done after that. I feel optimistic about this pitching staff right now that they can win 5 games in the next 2 weeks and send you to Omaha.
32-3 at Bluebell Park.
Is that good?
Pretty good. The 3 losses by a combined 8 runs. All in conference. One of them to a team that's gotten hot down the stretch, playing very good baseball in Mississippi State. Another to Arkansas. And then the third to perhaps the best team you've seen this year in Georgia.
Georgia, yeah.
With that offense. You lost a 1-run game 2 of a doubleheader, and it took a sticky situation to even beat you. So there's plenty of reasons to be optimistic. The reasons to be optimistic about this team, at least in my opinion, far outweigh the concerns.
If they play only non-conference teams and they don't play somebody that's out of the SEC that would come in super regional play, what's the record against non-conference this year?
25-0.
Oh, I would have some optimism as well there that the only teams that have the skill and talent level to beat this team are teams that are from the SEC. There's some optimism there.
And it took some bad baseball to suffer A&M losses.
So maybe we can get to Omaha with no SEC teams and just win the whole damn thing.
I'd like that. But at the same time,
you're gonna have to face
a little
some SEC.
unrealistic.
Yeah.
You're going to have to face some SEC teams.
You're going to see.
You're already battle-tested. You know what it takes.
I think that the perfect thing that happened for the NCAA is they can have a 1 seed from the SEC. They can have a 4 and a 5 and an 8. They can have half of this bracket be SEC teams. And that is the perfect bracket as far as they're concerned. There's going to be a 2. So there's still a chance with the 2 seed being in the SEC that you could still have an all-SEC finals for the College World Series. But they're betting the field, and we can eliminate half of this tournament to be SEC Super Regional host. I think that's a perfect bracket for the NCAA.
Gentlemen, it was It was fun. By the way, we're gonna do a show on Monday. Not you guys, but just TexAgs Radio. So it went by real fast.
And at 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
Be over there. They haven't announced a win or where. Well, we know when. We just don't know
how
where yet.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we'll do a luchador on Monday. So there'll be one of those. Did you not know that?
No,
Happy Memorial Day,
you
anybody?
had mentioned it to me, but I just didn't know that.
Am I allowed to say
he
that?
He was going to work.
Well, let's see.
He always works.
He is. He's working as we speak. All right, hour number 3 coming up. Daylon Holt at 10:35. I'll waste time for about 30 minutes before that. We'll talk some baseball. We got some more Mike Elko stuff from last night. And, of course, your text messages at 979-693-1150. You are listening to TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Good job, gentlemen. Welcome back into TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. We're going to get to some text messages here in a moment, but first thing I want to do is talk about FBS Appliance. Their team of experts are here to help you with the appliances that make your home, your house a home, I should say, carrying the brands that make your life easier and appliances to fit any budget out there. They pride themselves on offering comprehensive solutions that set them apart from the competition. They specialize in providing top-notch sales, installation services for leading brands, ensuring seamless experience for all of their customers. They have a commitment to customer satisfaction. It's at the core of everything that they do there at FBS. So they've assembled a team of trained sales professionals who are experts in their field. They also do services beyond sales, right? They have expert installation services carried out by skilled technicians that are factory trained out there. They are awesome, and they've been around since 1988. Make them your trusted place to go to, and they have the top brands out there. Visit any of their 8 showrooms across Texas or find them online at factorybuilderstores.com. All right, let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. I know we got a couple text messages to get into. I know we've got around the SEC to get into, and I've got some more things from Coach Elko yesterday at the Houston Touchdown Club to get into. So we can open up the phone lines after the 2 baseball guys in 1 show segment. What did you think? Do you feel better about where we are? Because I'm seeing kind of like a split like down the middle. And Luke, you can help me with this. I believe there are many that are overly concerned, and there are many that are like, dude, it's whatever. Like, let's look at the whole season. Is that kind of what you're seeing from the text message line?
Yeah, I'm also seeing a split. Trey in College Station summarizes what I believe to be true. He says, context matters. The book is out with elite pitchers. Other than Ole Miss, we just ran through the gauntlet of SEC pitching staffs, and they were elite. We will not see another staff of that caliber until at least the Super Regionals, or most likely Omaha. Plus, even Arkansas with their pitching staff and Hagen Smith couldn't beat us twice at home. In the words of Aaron Rodgers, relax.
Hey, Luke, we read that one.
Oh, you did?
I just wanted you to read through it, though. Yeah, we did.
Oh, okay.
All good. It's all good. Thanks
you
for
didn't
listening.
You didn't want to cut me off?
No,
okay.
I just felt like, you know what? Let's just let him. But it's actually, I think, a very good point, though.
Yeah.
So, no, because I didn't get to get my opinion on it. Those jokers did. So, here's my thing. It's not always black and white. 2 things can be true. You could be concerned with the results, because I guarantee you Schloss is concerned about the result. Maybe not concerned. He's not happy with the results. That's a fair way of saying it, right? He's not happy that they've gone 5-7 in the last 12 games. But 100%, you've taken on 2 aces in Hoover, right? It took you won this series against Arkansas, and you went toe-to-toe with Hagen Smith, the best pitcher in the SEC in the country, right? You went toe-to-toe, and you beat him. You didn't beat him, but you beat Arkansas on the day that he pitched, and Ryan Prager matched him. All these things can be true, right? And it is a fact that you've gone against some aces recently, and that's part of the reason the offense has sputtered. And if the offense sputters at one point, do other parts do? If the end of the lineup is hitting better, does that affect the top of the lineup? 100% it does. They're all connected. So that's why I'm at a point where you could be concerned, yet no, like, you're right. I've seen enough baseball. I've seen enough of this team, this particular team, to think what's their record at home, Luke?
Something in 3.
In 3.
Like 30.
Is it 34 and 3?
Yeah, something of that.
34
nature.
and 3. Okay. So in almost 40 games, they've lost 3 games at home. Where are they playing the regional?
I believe that's going to be at home.
Okay. Where would they play the super regional?
I think that's also at home.
Okay. I think, am I right here? They hadn't lost back-to-back games, but twice this year?
Correct.
Okay.
And never at home.
And never at home. So, like, yeah, you could be concerned because, hello, I'm concerned driving with people texting and driving, even those who aren't even texting. I assume that they are. Concerns are fine, but you can also feel pretty good about your team based on what the history will tell you, right? So I think 2 things can be true. Any other text you want to get into?
Yeah, one that's kind of on the concern notion says, I hear and understand what you're saying, but I can tell you from those who went there and watched, it's discouraging. The teams and also the fans want to win. No excuses. I still love our guys, but it's disappointing. And then he follows that up saying, one more thing, Aggie Section 205 hands down won the fans there. Everybody loved them and how loud they were, and there were only about 10 of them there.
Of course. We're Aggies, right? Yeah. Section 205, shout out. You deserve it. Let's get another one in.
A couple people just saying they're concerned about Braden and Jace pressing and trying to do too much. Bronny mentioned that he felt like that's what doomed this team last year. Guys feeling like they had to do too much. I actually am not as concerned about that. When you have a lineup as stacked as A&M, you hope that no one feels like they have to do too much. And I think, it starts at the top, and Gavin seems to be out of his slump. Jason, Braden have their moments too. But, this SEC pitching that A&M has been facing, you're not going to see in a regional. And so I think this concern about the way this team has been playing, like you and the baseball bunch have summarized, there's really not too much to be concerned about. You're walking into a regional at home. Things should be okay at this point.
They should be okay. And my voice cracked there. That's a little embarrassing. But there's a stat that not even a stat, it is a stat. I was listening to Andrew Monaco yesterday and Bronny on my drive between the game and from leaving TexAgs offices. And they were talking about Braden Montgomery versus righties, right? And he's batting 280 against righties, which is significantly lower. I think he's batting, I forget what it is. Maybe it's 350, 360 against lefties. But Jace, conversely, is batting 380s against lefties. So that's what we expect is for people to pitch Braden a certain way because of those numbers, right? And it might even be lower than 280. I wrote down 280. It might have been a little bit lower than that. So just something to consider. Let's do some SEC storylines, Luke. Can we do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to start off with, since the NBA is a hot topic and the Mavs are off to a great start. Luca doing their thing. I wanted to go over the NBA awards and point out some notable SEC players that made the list. You're going to see a lot of Kentucky, but let's start it off with the all-defensive second team, which in my eyes is way more important than first team All-NBA, second team All-NBA, or all-rookie team.
Hold on, are you talking about a guy that we all like here in town?
Yeah, I'm talking about none other than Alex Caruso making all-defensive second team. I believe he led the league in steals, and that second team was made up of all guards, and he had the best stats out of all the guards on that list. So very impressive for Alex Caruso.
You know what I call him?
What do you call him?
A winner.
That's, he does have a NBA championship under his belt.
He is fantastic.
Something that you can't say about this next player who made All-NBA first team, and that's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Oh, too bad. What happened to Oklahoma?
The Mavs got to him. He is.
Why did I use that weird accent? What was that? It was like a mix
weird.
Of things, right?
That was very weird. He's from Kentucky, second team All-NBA. Anthony Edwards from Georgia and Anthony Davis from Kentucky. Third team Devin Booker from Kentucky. All-NBA rookie team Brandon Miller from Alabama. Rookie second team Cason Wallace from Kentucky and Gigi Jackson from South Carolina. And then the all-defensive first team, a lot more Kentucky, Bam Adebayo, Anthony Davis, and Herb Jones from Alabama.
All right, good stuff there.
And then we've also got just a little bit on SEC softball. The regionals are over with, and the SEC had the most teams to advance to the super regionals. Oklahoma, which will be in the SEC next year, kicked off their super regional yesterday, defeating Florida State 11-3. And Georgia, the number 11 seed, lost 8-0 to UCLA, and all the other SEC teams will start play today, and that's Aggie softball headlining that, taking on number 1 Texas, and that game is going to be at, I believe, 5 o'clock Central Time on ESPN2. Game 2 will be on Saturday at 4 o'clock Central Time, and then Game 3, if necessary, will be on Sunday.
Let me ask a question.
Yeah.
You're a Mavs guy.
Yeah.
They win Game 2. Are they going to win this series?
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel good? Did you feel good about this series before?
Yeah, I felt pretty decent about their chances. I think defensively, the Mavs have played 2 of the best defenses in the league, and if they can get by Oklahoma City, I think, win one more game against, against the Timberwolves, I think if they take a 2-0 series lead, this thing's probably ending in 5.
I hope so. I really want to see Luka in the finals. But do you think they have enough to beat the Celtics, who are clearly the best team in basketball this year, or top 2 teams in basketball, I should say?
Defensively, neither the Celtics or the Pacers can match up with what the Mavs have just run through, these teams that they've just played. But offensively, do I think the Mavs can score with the Celtics and Pacers, either team? That's going to be a question mark. Rick Carlisle's offense is prolific. They should have won Game 1.
Could you imagine, though, Rick Carlisle and the Pacers versus the Mavs?
That would be incredible. Or you're getting Kristaps Porzingis coming back just in time for the NBA Finals to play his former team. I think no matter what, the storylines are going to be awesome for the NBA Finals. You're finally going to have a young player like Tatum or Halliburton or Luka or Anthony Edwards, who is on the cusp of becoming that NBA superstar, win a ring. I'm honestly really excited.
Did you hear
for
that
these
whole
finals.
debate we had on the show the other day, or
Yes.
on the boards? Did you agree with me or no?
I don't know.
You can be honest.
I did. When y'all were talking about who's like the face of the league or who's like the superstar left, nobody mentioned Jason Tatum. How did he like not get a single mention? It was all about Luka or Anthony Edwards.
Because I don't think he is the face of the league. Like I think he is an elite player. But when I say face of the league, and we need to move to some football here in a second,
Mm-hmm.
but when you say about the face, I guess it depends what your definition of the face of the league is, right? To me, the face of the league is people who maybe casually watch the sport, know who that person is, right? Jason Tatum's a superstar. Of course, NBA fans know him, and he's now on commercials, right? So he's absolutely in the conversation. But he's not a bigger face than Giannis. He's not.
No, yeah, I'll agree with you on that. But I think winning a ring moves him in that step. Yeah.
But and that's what I was saying about Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards, yeah, he's a huge deal. He was the number 1 pick. He's not the face of the league yet. If he wins an NBA championship, does that change the conversation? Yes. But there's Steph is still and LeBron are still the face of the league, right? Like they're still.
Yeah, they're on their way out for sure. But I would say right now they are still.
All right. Let's move to some football topics here. And by the way, you can get some text messages if you want. I wanted to get into a little bit more of some of the things that Coach Elko said yesterday. I'm going to start with something that I ended the 8 o'clock hour with, because to me, I felt like OB didn't absorb it the way I wanted it to. And maybe it's just the way I'm wired, but we'll become a championship program when nobody's watching. To me, that hit me different. And I'm sure Nick's going to laugh. He's like, that's the Jocko or the Goggins in you. But I truly believe that the elite of the elite in whatever walk of life we're talking about, the business world, the sports world, right? It does not matter. Parenting, it is all about what you do when the lights are not necessarily shined on you, right? It is the work you do. If you, people will make fun of me for this one, but a diet. If you're really good on your diet Monday through Friday, but you suck on the weekend, your diet sucks. That's just the facts. I'm sorry, guys. It's the same thing. If you're really good just at practice, because it's going to tie into another quote of Coach Elko's that I wanted to kind of get to, and you guys can read between the lines. But this summer, what people do on their own time, what people do in the film room, what people do in the weight room, will go so far. Not just the prescribed times of what you're expected to do. To be great, you have to act a certain way. Act as if, like the movie Boiler Point with Ben Affleck, act as if you're the CEO. And that doesn't mean go home early. That means go to work early, leave late. That's what the champions do. That's what Jerry Rice did. That's what Joe Montana did. I'm giving old school guys, I apologize for that. That's what I assume LeBron does. That's what the top guys do, right? There's a certain level of expectation when you work, right? And I think that's what Coach Elko's hitting. Our team is going to be built by what we do when nobody's watching. And when nobody's watching, we're working. And when nobody's expecting us to work, we still got to be working. We've got to push the envelope. And I think it ties in because he had a couple quotes to me that I think when you look at him, you're like, you know what? He's got a point here. And you can kind of read into however you want to read into things, right? So here's another one. On Moose Muhammad, it's a really big summer in front of him to get his body right and his mind right and go out and deliver. Moose is an extremely talented kid. We're excited about what he can provide this year. So he's telling you a lot there. You have the opportunity, Moose, and we all have seen the dramatic catches and how nice of a young man he is and the cool. Now he's got the opportunity to build on what he has done for the first few months and take it another notch, right? So now the onus is on you, Moose, and I believe he can do it, and I believe Noah Thomas can do it, and all these guys who have been here. There's no Anais Smith right now to bail us out. You've got to be the Anais. You've got to step up and be a leader on and off the field, and that's how I take what he is saying about Moose Muhammad. So to me, just let that marinate for a moment, those 2 points of what we do when nobody's watching, and hey, here's an opportunity for you. Show me that you can be that guy. If those things happen, and there are ifs because we haven't seen it happen yet, if those things happen, that offense is going to be clicking, right? And to tie it back to the original thought about we've heard you, and yes, our offensive line is going to be better. music to my ears. If you are able to hit on these quotes that he's given us, right? If they are able to have a better offensive line, if Moose does take his game up a notch, and again, these are ifs because we haven't seen it. If the offensive line, all these things we're talking about, if these things start to hit more often than not, now we're talking about the kind of season that we've been expecting. Another one. Coach Elko on playing Texas. What this game means to Aggies is not lost on anyone. If I gave away my plan to beat them, I think it would not go well right now tonight. You are the 1,200th person to have told me how important that game is. We'll take that very seriously, 100%. Now, a couple weeks ago, when Billy asked me what was more important, going 10-2 and losing to Texas and LSU, I think that's how he phrased it. Maybe it was losing to Texas and to Notre Dame, or 9-3, but beating those teams. I chose the 10-2 route. But the more I see, and I still think 10-2 is better than 9-3. Just mathematically, that's just the facts. But the more, and I mute a lot of people, but the more I see the chatter between Texas and Texas A&M on social media, the more I hear from people, the more like that, the years that we've been waiting for that game to come back, it is. I don't want to go 4-8 and beat Texas, right? Absolutely not. I'll take 10-2 or 9-3 and lose to them over that. But that game matters so much at Kyle Field. If your defense, going back to the original point of this, the work that we do when nobody's watching makes this championship caliber team. If the offensive line, if Moose, Noah, all these guys live up to what we're talking about, then that game's importance, hopefully, takes on much more than just the rivalry. That game matters because of the rivalry, because of the history, because we haven't played them in so long. But I hope that game matters because it means two teams are fighting for a big position to make the college football playoffs. Is that a realistic conversation right now? I don't care. It's the freaking summer. I'll talk about whatever the heck I want to talk about, right? But let's get there. And how you get there is by all the things prior that we discussed to get you to that game to matter. Another thing on the transfer portal. Coach Elko, Houston A&M Club yesterday. Understand when 10 kids leave a program, 75 stay. Social media focuses on the 10. But we will put together a group of 120 that will represent your university well this fall. Guys left, and some of those hurt. And I hope they have bad seasons, right? Sorry. That's just how I feel. I hope they're not very good. Because you're going to play one. Well, you won't play one of them, but they're in the SEC. One of them's in the SEC. One of them's in the Pac-12, right? Or not the Pac-12 now. It's the Big Ten. But I hope they're not. I hope we don't miss them, right? I hope Nick Scorton gets you 14 sacks this year, right? I hope some of those DBs that we brought in are elite, right? Will Lee starts dominating, pick sixes, right? I hope we get all that because it is going to be about the guys that stayed, that are a fabric of this program, and the new dudes that came in to strengthen what Coach Elko is trying to do. I'll do one more before we hit a break here. Coach Elko and Terry Bussey. I don't think he's going to be a challenge at all. The challenge I have is tempering everyone's expectations of an 18-year-old kid from Timpson, Texas. Terry moved to College Station today. That was yesterday, by the way. But he has yet to participate in a single lift, run, or drill. So there we go. Terry is going to be there, and he's here. So welcome, Terry. We expect big things from you. But I will temper my expectations this year for you, buddy. All right, we're going to hit a break here. When we come back on TexAgs Radio, we'll do a round Aggie line. We've got a lot of that to get into. We've been talking baseball all show long. Let's talk Mexican food and baseball. Luke, have you had the home run combo?
I have not, but I'm interested in learning about it.
No, you've learned about it. Like, I don't have to tell you about the home run combo that is a favorite of Jace Lavalette and Ryan Targacho. I mean, you should know that it's an entree with sweet pork enchiladas smothered in what?
Queso?
House-made queso, buddy.
Boom.
Rice and beans. Do you like that?
Yeah, I love it.
Do you like a large drink for $11.99?
That sounds incredible.
Not the large drink itself for $11.99. The entire combo.
Even at Costa Vida, I would buy the large drink for $11.99.
I think you should go later. I'm just telling you. I mean, if you really care about Aggie athletics, you would do it today.
The sweet pork is unbelievable.
Well, thank you for saying that. So you can do that at the South College Station location. And when you walk in the doors, go say hi to Holly. She's an Aggie. She owns it. She operates it. She's awesome, right? And give her a hug, give her a high five, fist pound, whatever. She's fantastic. Go there. But did you know, and I know Luke knows this, you can go to the concession stand there during the baseball games there at Bluebell because they have it down the third base line. And there they have chili lime chicken, sweet pork burritos. They have sweet pork bajo bowls, chips and queso, key lime pie. Get that at the baseball field, right? Go to Bluebell. Go get it done, right, and go to South College Station there. It is Costa Vida, Aggie owned and operated. 4501 Mills Park Circle in College Station. That is 4501 Mills Park Circle in South College Station. It's Costa Vida. Weren't you just sitting over there?
Yeah.
What happened?
I teleported.
Wait. So you think because around Aggieland, Kay does it there, you should sit?
Yeah. Kay told me to. She said, hey, I was just on 6th Street all last night. I can't make it back in town for Around Aggieland. Can you do Around Aggieland for me and sit in my seat?
So, but wait, who's doing the social center then?
We should go to it and see who's there.
But there's nobody there.
There might be a surprise there.
Hey, did you know this is TexAgs Radio?
Yes, this is.
We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
And I know where we are. Do you know where we are?
Why are we laughing about this? This is such a bad bit. Rollo Insurance Studio. By the way, I loved how Nick came in here and made fun of me immediately.
Right.
What did I do, Nick? Remind the people what I did.
So, welcome. Welcome, Terry.
Welcome, Terry Bussey.
So when I was talking to Terry,
I hope someone shows him that.
Did Billy already text about that?
No.
Okay.
But
can we cut that? Welcome, Terry.
Welcome, Terry Bussey.
All right. Let's do Around Aggieland. By the way, welcome, Terry Bussey, to College Station. Presented by Normandy State Bank. Normandy State Bank, rock solid banking. The website is normandystatebank.com. And we've got, it doesn't sound the same, we got Luke Evangelist.
Can you do it in like the same?
Luke Evangelist.
Thank you. So let's start it off with women's tennis. The now defending national championship national champions. In the team side, we've still got Mary Stoyana trying to win an individual title. She's the #1 singles player in the country. Unfortunately, her and her partner, Mia Kupris, did just fall in the quarterfinals of the doubles tournament. Mary was going to win a clean sweep, the team, doubles, and singles, but she still got a chance to win singles. That match in the semifinals is going to take place at 11:30. She's going against Alexa Knoll from Miami. Like we said, Mary is the #1 player in the country. So, national championship, we are hopeful, but we're not going to get our hopes up too much. Looking to make that the 3rd national championship in the week.
Why, let's just get our hope. Why can't, she's the best in the country.
Yeah, she is.
Let's go win it.
Okay, let's go win it. Speaking of,
how did I had my Howard Dean moment earlier. Let's go! You don't even know what that means.
Screamed. Speaking of national championships, I know you're probably tired of hearing about all the winning A&M is doing, but
no.
They've already won the bass fishing national championship this week. That is in addition to Adela Cernosek winning the individual women's golf national championship, the women's tennis team winning their team national championship, Texas A&M archery winning the national championship, Texas A&M's fish drill team winning their 14th consecutive national championship, and soon to be Aggie Club baseball, Cade Bickham winning a national championship. That is soon to be. That hasn't happened yet, but they will.
And maybe softball. Maybe baseball. Maybe track. What, anything else? There's only 9 things.
Yeah.
Come on, we got to
right. Only 9. Yeah. That's a subpar week for us. Speaking of track, the Texas A&M track team is in Fayetteville, Arkansas, for the NCAA West first-round qualifier with several athletes looking to punch their tickets to the NCAA championships. Our good friend of the program, Leanna Davidson, qualified for the NCAA championships in the javelin. Yep, she threw the ball really far. I heard somebody got impaled, but
what?
No, never mind.
Was that
flop?
Was that a bad
That was
joke?
a flop. That was a joke.
I think you realized it as you were delivering it midway through the word. You're like, this is not going to go well.
Right. No, it was a flop. Anyways, her teammate Heather Abadi also qualified in the pole vault, and there are going to be 7 women who've advanced to the quarterfinals on Saturday in their respective event, and the men will look to wrap up their NCAA spots today. Aggie men's golf is set to begin their run at the NCAA championships this week. Round 1 has already begun at 8:40 a.m. today. That's a tee time of 6:40 Pacific time in California where they're playing. The Aggies are one of 6 SEC teams remaining in the field. The format is exactly like the women if you were following along there. They're going to play 3 rounds of stroke play before the field is cut to 15 teams on Sunday, and then it's going to be cut to 8 teams after Monday before they begin stroke play. The Aggies' last national championship in men's golf was won in 2009, and they've made it to match play twice in the last 5 years, most recently in 2019. So there we go, Brian Cortan. Bring it home for Aggie men's golf.
I like to go Cortan.
Yeah.
You can go Cortan. He can win.
He can.
And he will.
He can get tan
but
as well.
He can't do it.
Yeah, he can. Aggie baseball.
Stupid.
Yeah, I'm trying my best to be OB, and it's just not working. Aggie baseball winless at the SEC tournament, but it's okay because your season doesn't end at the SEC tournament like Ole Miss's. It's always good to see. And so the Aggies are going to be awaiting their fate on selection Monday, 11 a.m. Central Time, with a top 8 national seed pretty much locked up. A&M will await their fate. Will you rather see Texas or TCU in the regional? Because you know one of them is coming.
Would I rather see Texas or TCU in the regional? I think I'd rather see TCU. I just don't want to deal with Longhorns.
I think that's fair.
I'm not scared of them. I just don't want to deal with them.
I would agree with that. Just you were talking about the rivalry coming back. It just made me think of how toxic Twitter, social media, just even the environment is going to be.
I'd love to end their season again. Sure. I mean, we did it 2 years ago. It'd be fun. But I just don't want to deal with it. Like, there's certain you're going to have to beat a great team regardless. So can we deal with somebody else? And if we beat them, if they are the ones that come here, great. We'll just take care of business and move on.
Absolutely. So that is the second, looks like it's going to be the second top 5 national seed for Schloss in his first 3 years here. Moving on to women's golf, they fell in the first round of the match play. So that's the quarterfinals of the NCAA championships to number 6 seed UCLA. All 4 teams that advanced from that quarterfinal were Pac-12 teams. They all eliminated SEC teams. So that home field advantage of playing in California on a course you're familiar with ultimately caught up to Texas A&M and the other SEC teams there. But that is not the end of the road for Coach G. Coach Chadwell. Incredible success for him over the last 3 years.
They call him Coach G as well, which is weird. Like when you hear the players talk about Coach Chadwell, because his nickname or his
Short Game G.
Short Game G. So some coaches call him G.
He's been playing the long game as well, so that's back-to-back match play. Semifinal appearances for Texas A&M followed up with a quarterfinal appearance. So that's 3 years in a row of a top 8 finish at the NCAA championships, as well as an SEC championship to go along with it, and now an individual NCAA champion. So incredible success for Aggie women's golf over the last 3 years. And looking at Aggie women's tennis, and speaking of incredible success over the last 3 years, just to run over some numbers, Coach Weaver, the Dream Weaver, his team went 91-12 over the last 3 seasons, 38-1 in SEC play, 48-0 at home, back-to-back-to-back SEC regular season championships, back-to-back Elite 8 appearances in 2022 and 2023, and finally capped off with a Texas A&M team national championship, the first ever in program history. And like we said earlier, Mary Stoyana looking to win 2 national championships in 1 week. She's going for the singles title in the semifinals, and that match will take place in just about an hour.
All right, good stuff. Thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate you. I just buddied you. I apologize.
No, it's okay.
All right, great work there from Luke Evangelist. When we come back, Daylon Holt is going to be joining us. He just texted me, so we got to hit a break because I think he's ready to come on the show, talk about this year's Aggie baseball team, and also relive some moments from his days here in Aggie Land. Right now, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet. You can find them on Highway 21 in Caldwell, and you can find them online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. Couple things you want to do when you're looking for a vehicle, right? You want to get the right price. You want to make sure that you're not getting hassled. You know, I despise being sold to, right? Like you walk, hey, this car would look great on you. Or look at this awesome little hat you should wear. Like, no, I don't want to wear your hat. I'll come to you if I want to wear your hat. I can tell you when you go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet, you're not going to get hassled. Yeah, they're gonna explain to you what the benefits of the car are, but they're going to do it at your pace. We'll talk about pacing of the baseball team. They're going to do it at your pace. Great pricing, great people, and great customer service when you go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet, which starts with their complimentary pickup and delivery of their service customers. And when you get there, you're going to get a great price on your vehicle, great trade-in value, you name it. You're going to walk away very happy when it comes to Caldwell Country Chevrolet. It's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people there at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell. Online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. A lot of baseball on the show, as it should be. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's talk to a 1999 All-American who has the record for homers in a season with 34, 56 career home runs, the leader, the only Aggie to ever drive in 100 runs in a season in 1999 alone. Listen to these numbers. You hit 341, 34 jacks, 105 RBIs, helped lead A&M to the College World Series there in the 99 season when I was graduating from A&M. It was a heck of a run. Let's talk to Daylon Holt here on TexAgs Radio. Daylon, how are you, sir?
Doing well. How are y'all?
Good, man. Thanks for joining us. This is my first time to talk to you. So just kind of catch us up, what you've been up to. I know you got some busy kids that are playing baseball at a high level. Well, how's life?
And it's definitely busy. We're right now we're in Georgetown. My youngest is playing varsity baseball, and they're in the playoffs playing against Tomball. So this is round 4. My oldest is in the super regionals right now in Division II, playing for Angela State. So we're trying to figure out where we're going to be, when we're going to be there. Can we get to both games or not? So yeah, it's a crazy time right now.
It's a wonderful time too. My kids are certainly not at the level your kids are at. They're still younger, but just it's a season of life that I know that you probably cherish every moment.
Yeah, every summer.
Yeah, summer's become what the kids' activities are for sports. So I totally know that. Let me ask you about this current baseball team. How much can you keep up? Are you with the SEC, the ability to watch it online? I'm sure you get to watch a lot of the games.
Oh, absolutely. Every time that they're playing, either SEC, SEC Plus, or even on ESPN, we're able to watch just about every single game. This is what I call my March Madness, because I get to turn on the TV at 9 o'clock in the morning and start watching the SEC baseball tournament, and then next week will be the regionals and the super regionals on after that. But we've been able to watch quite a few games. I was able to go down to the Vanderbilt game on Friday. We had our 99 reunion. So that was a fun time, and that was just a butt whooping. Run rhythm in 7. Wasn't expecting that one. But yeah, it's a really good team. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first time a team has been ranked 91 since 99. I'm sorry, been ranked number 1 in the nation since 99. I could be wrong on that.
I think 2016 they were 1 for a little bit as well. Okay. So yeah, there was that. Hey, so I'll ask you. You played the game at the highest level, right? You are in the history of A&M sports forever. Should we be concerned, because we had the baseball guys on earlier, that they're not too concerned about the recent play that we've seen from A&M baseball? How much can we read into the way they finished in Hoover, even though they're going to be a top 5 national seed, considering the last couple of series leading up to Hoover?
I thought they did a really good job in the Arkansas series. Ole Miss was a little disappointing. I thought that they should have done a better job of there. But, the way that baseball is, you just got to it's monotonous. It's every single day. You got to stay steady. Stay even. You can't be on the highs and lows of a roller coaster. So if you look at some of the things that are going on, you see guys hitting the ball hard just right at everybody. Braden Montgomery has hit 5 or 6 balls just on a line, and it's been a one-hop right at the second baseman or into the shift. So you're seeing a lot of that. So whenever that stuff comes, you just have to keep riding it out and just keep doing what you're doing.
Talking to Daylon Holt here on TexAgs Radio. Have you had any interactions or anything you can share with Jace Lavalette?
I was down for the Vandy game, and we went down to the locker room afterwards, and I got to talk to him for a brief second. That's basically my only interaction with him so far. So it was pretty neat for me. Being the old guy. I remember being there in '99, and the '78 team walked in. You're like, oh my gosh, these guys are old. And hey, that's me. How you doing? But just talked to him real briefly and said, congratulations on the season that you're having, and even last year as well. And you're going to walk into the career home run record, so congratulations on that, and good luck on the single season. And it's a very difficult task. Whenever you really start to think about it, I hit 34 in 70 games. That's one every other game. Jace is 28 in 57 games. He's right at it. So it's very much a possibility. It just depends on how far they can go.
It's kind of cool. Like I know that there's the personal side, like you love your record and you want to hold on to it, but also like to see success of the program that you left and you put them in a better place to see what they're doing now.
Yeah, to me it's always fun. Do I joke around with my friends? Yes, I do. But at the same time, it's been 25 years since that record was posted. So, records are made to be broken. So, the way that I see it is the way that the team is, and even with Braden Montgomery and Gavin Gahovic, it's just a fun team to watch, and that's what I like about it. I mean, you see guys. I mean, you have 3 guys with over 20 home runs right now. I mean, I don't know what happened to BB Core. I think they're swinging the besters right now, but I mean, they're making those bats look stupid. I mean, just how big and how strong they are and what they're able to do to it. It's fun to watch.
Daylon, so we had Scott Clendenin on the show a little bit earlier, and he was telling us a story about Craig Kuzmet, who talked to you and said, hey, don't just beat my record, shatter my record. Can you kind of take us through that?
Yeah, that's – it was so he hit 26 or 28, I believe, and I was able to tie that against Texas whenever we got beat on Friday night, and then right after that it was just, 2 in the regionals, 2 in the super regionals. But yeah, I mean, it was fun, especially being with Craig and, him doing it the year before. I mean, we had that kind of rivalry as we were going on last year, or my freshman year. It was always like a competition of who can hit the most doubles, who can hit the most home runs and whatnot. So, Craig was awesome. And that's kind of how I hope to be. If he breaks it, or when he breaks it, it'll be fun. And hopefully I can time it out where I'm able to be at one of the games that he does it at. And, it'll be cool. It'll be really fun.
That would be talking to Daylon Holt here on TexAgs Radio. So another thing I was told, you hated playing Southwest Texas State, or maybe you loved playing them, I should say. You hated them because what Scott Clendenin told me was you hit a home run like every time you faced them.
That could be. I don't remember that. I remember playing at Southwest Texas, and I was actually surprised at how nice the stadium was. I had one of my high school friends that went to school there, and they were down the right field line chirping at me. So that was fun. But I think I hit one there. I remember I like hitting at that ballpark though, and I don't remember how many times we played them at home. But some of the stuff that you remember, and like it was yesterday, some of the stuff that you just had no clue. Like we had a 99 reunion, Zoom call during COVID, and we relived the 99 season with the super regionals and the regionals, and I was amazed of all the stuff that they were talking about that I had no clue that even happened. It was pretty cool.
So I talk for a living, and there are times that people will stop me and say, hey, remember when you said that yesterday? I have no idea what they're talking about because I don't remember. It's amazing how certain things stick with people, though.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I remember in 99, like it was yesterday, we beat Clemson on that Saturday or Sunday. It was hot as all get out. And Steven Scarborough, like entire body just cramped up. They had him on IVs and they could barely get him in because his whole body was just tensed up because he was cramping the whole time. I remember like yesterday. Steve barely remembers it.
Well, can we talk about that? Because that's such an epic moment in Aggie sports history. Clemson, they're up in the 9th inning. Kind of take us through that and just the Steve first, and then it was followed by the winner.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're facing their closer. I don't know how many innings he's faced, but he hasn't given up a home run all year long. And Screech comes up and bomb. I'm like, oh, crap, here we go. Now we got a chance. And then I think Chad Hudson was right behind him and lined out or grounded out. And then Truitt comes up and hits another one. And, we just erupted. And the crazy thing about that one is a lot of people don't remember that we're actually visitors in that game. So not only did we tie it up and then go ahead, we had to go back out and shut them down in order to win. And then we had Casey Fossum come back since, on a day's rest to be able to get the final 3 out to clinch it for us. I mean, it was just crazy. And you talk about Olsen Magic and the crowd being involved. It was, there was epic.
And Steve wasn't really a home run hitter, right? Like, so it was even more epic because of that.
Screech? Yeah. I mean, Screech is more of a doubles hitter. Truitt hit more home runs than Scarborough did.
How did he get the nickname Screech?
I have no clue. I played with him. He went to Duncanville High School, and with Sean Haney went to J.J. Pierce. So with that group, and really this is what made my commitment to A&M so easy, is because I would play summer ball with him. So like at that time it was like 9 and 10 and 11 and 12. So whenever I would be the youngest, they would be the oldest, and I would always be playing with those guys. So and then towards the end of our high school career, we played with the Dallas Mustangs together, and then all of those 6 guys came to A&M. So whenever I went on my recruiting visit, it was like, holy crap, I'm at home. Like it was just such an easy environment to be around because I was comfortable and used to everybody. But yeah, we just always called him Screech. I don't know. Stay by the bell days.
I was gonna say, like we're the same age, so that's he was popular in those days.
Yeah, not so much after Stay by the bell days, but
hey,
but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was his hair and his shoulders. I don't know.
Can we talk about you alluded to it, why you came here and those relationships, but over time, this is 25 years. Like you guys are all still very tight. You guys talk all the time. We have Sheshik on the show all the time. He's great. I mean, there's a bond, a brotherhood still.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's anytime we see someone from the 98 or 99 team, it's just like we just go right back to the time period that we were there. We don't miss anything. We don't skip anything. It's just automatic bond, and start asking about kids and family, and then we start going back and do you remember when, and can you remember this whenever there was a fight against UTA, and it's just little stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, we have a text message group, a group meeting where we just start razzing guys and start going at it every single time. And Chris Russ is the biggest culprit because he's just an easy target.
Let's close out with Coach Schloss and just the job he's done here in 3 years, because I know you all were a legitimate championship contender the years that you were here, and just to know that those days are still here, that Schloss has kind of rebuilt. There was a couple of lean years leading up to it, but obviously what he's been able to do in his first 3 years here.
I mean, it's just amazing. I think it goes to his recruiting. I think the other big part is the people that he has around him, with Coach Early, and Hutch is still there, which for me that's important because that connects everyone from the older days. But even getting Coach Weiner from the Mariners. I mean, he just surrounds himself with very, very good coaches that helps him. And he even did the same thing at TCU. So that's one of his strengths. And then going and getting the right players. I mean, to be able to say that, hey, Jordan Montgomery goes to Stanford for 2 years, goes to College World Series, and now with the new rules of the transfer portal, he's coming in for 1 year to help us. I mean, like, holy crap. I mean, and then that's just one. I mean, there's like 3 kids from California that he was able to get as well. So, I mean, I think it just goes to show, like, with the new age of baseball and how you have to constantly be recruiting even at the Division I level, how much of a connection he has and able to get the right players to make the right team to fit it and put it all together. But it is an amazing job that he's done. I mean, even the first year that they went to the College World Series, no one really thought he was going to make it. And bam, there they are. So it is a fun time. And I think that's one thing that even whenever we were there in 98, 99, that we were going to the College World Series once every 8 years, once every 10 years. And then now that they're getting back more and more often, which hopefully I'm not jinxing them that they'll get there this year. I think that's what you need in order to be able to make that a championship run. People that are used to playing at Ameritrade Field in Omaha, I mean, it's important.
Daylon, great stuff, man. I appreciate you making some time for us, and let's do it again.
All right, no problem. Anytime.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good one.
You too. Gig 'em. Daylon Holt there. Just great story and just awesome time there. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with one final segment. I do want to read this from J84. Jay, come on, man. Why are you trying to come after us? He says, pretty obvious. Y'all never worked on Bonfire. TU, anytime, anywhere, any sport. It's simple. Jay, I worked on Bonfire twice. Okay? I know, 2%er, I get it. And I did work on it a couple times. I am sure Luke worked on it. I just don't want to hear their fans. Yes, when the games are on, let's go. I just don't want to hear. Like, today, I don't want to deal with them. That's all I'm saying. But if they show up here, destroy them. Step on them like cockroaches. We'll hit a break. We'll get to your final thoughts here on the program. We'll read some more text messages and get you ready for the weekend. It's TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Time to end the day with Double Dave's caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's, who've been serving Aggie Land since 1984 with your favorite pizza and world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Rollo Insurance Studio. Nick Savage, D1 Baseball. It's got some pairings for us to consider.
Yeah, and I know y'all touched on it during the baseball bunch. Or sorry, 2 baseball guys in one desk or one host or whatever it was. But anyways.
It's a good show, by the way.
Yeah, my favorite show.
Really?
Yeah.
Better than when, like, Olin's here? Better than Gar?
Yeah, of course.
Better than Billy?
Of course, yeah. Again, touched on it, but I don't think y'all went through the seeding and who they're matched up with. So obviously, D1 Baseball came out with this early this morning. A&M is the 4 seed in the College Station Regional, paired up with number 2 Texas, number 3 California, number 4 Abilene Christian. They are matched up with the 13th seeded Oklahoma State Cowboys, who get number 2 LSU, who are playing very, very hot right now. Number 3 Oregon and number 4 McNeese. So I know Luke might have a note on another SEC team getting a draw. Like, why can't A&M get this draw?
Yeah, it was Arkansas. Again, the 5 seed, their regionals, Louisiana Tech, or projected regional Louisiana Tech, Kansas State, and Oral Roberts, matched up with UC Santa Barbara, the 12 seed, with Arizona, TCU, and Wright State. That just sounds like a significantly more favorable draw than potentially facing an LSU or Oklahoma State in the Supers. And their regional looks, I mean, Louisiana Tech is pretty comparable to Texas, I would say, maybe a little bit better.
So here's the thing, guys. D1 Baseball, that's their opinion. Based on, intel that they get.
They're pretty close, though.
They were exact last year. There's that. Were they exact? I just made that up.
I think
they were pretty close.
Yeah, they're pretty close.
Yeah. Whatever. You know what? If we're as good as we think we are, and I think we do think it, kind of like what J84 said, doesn't matter who we play, right? Just go beat them. If it's Texas, we beat them. If it's the Cha-Cha Bears, we beat them too. You familiar with their work?
No.
Okay.
I know the Bad News Bears.
They're good.
We could beat them.
So here's the deal. Monday, we're doing a show. Hopefully you'll listen. We'll get you ready for Selection Monday. We'll find out all the stuff we were just discussing. Should have Billy. Maybe we'll have Bronny. I'll work on some other old school baseball guests. We'll get those here on the program. And then afterward, we'll find out their fate, and we'll do a luchador. How's that sound? That's going to do it here for TexAgs Radio on a Friday. Thank you so much for watching. Let's win Aggie softball. Let's take care of business there in Austin. That's going to do it. We'll see you on Monday.